She walks it loud like a thunderstorm, debunking myths with style and form. True crime, conspiracies her game. Melissa Jade, remember her name. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Microphone fierce like a roaring lion, unveiling secrets people been hiding. True crime queen of the digital scene, Melissa's got you hooked on her screen. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Murders to cover-ups, nothing misses. Melissa's here to share her guesses. She's got theories big and bold, no stone unturned, no case cold. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. From murders to cover-ups, nothing misses. Melissa's here to share her guesses. She's got theories big and bold, no stone unturned, no case cold. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. 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 She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Shay.
Hey, Melissa. Hey, everybody.
Happy Members Only Monday.
Yes. Is it Cinco de Mayo? Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah. Well, and I missed yesterday, so I couldn't say May the 4th be with you, which I'm really upset about, but can I still say it? Because I kind of already did.
Of course.
May the 4th be with you. I was so disappointed. I was like, shit. I skipped right over it. I waited all year for that one.
Oh.
Hi, guys. Hi, Tia. Hi, Unsilent Bob, Zizabella, Boho Hobo, Poor Linda, Curious Christine, Mallory, Amanda, Lindsay, Harlot, of course. We have Latin Butterfly, Bogart, Curious Christine, Triple L, Petunia, Marianne Morris, Lindsay Rose. Welcome, everyone. Thank you. Hi, C. Carter. Hi, Kimberly, Justin, Lisa Corinne, Kelly. How many nerd clusters are too many to put your mouth at one time? Asking for a friend. I mean, I've only just put a nerd cluster in my mouth for the first time last week. As you guys know, it happened in real time on a live stream because Wolfie sent me. She DoorDashed me nerd clusters, Shay, because I just simply mentioned on a live stream I've never had a nerd cluster. And then 15 minutes later, nerd clusters. Kidding. And so, but I ended up choking on those same nerd clusters with
I
you.
remember.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Like that one
I
nerd.
eat those often. Like, that's like the candy I get at 7-Eleven, like every time I go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
what
could put
was
up
your
to
answer?
10 in my mouth. 10.
10?
Yeah, I'll put 10. Yeah, but they're like, it's
10 clusters, Shay?
I'm ashamed.
I feel like the Game of Thrones, like, shame. Shame. 10.
Yeah, I'll just pop them in my mouth, and I'm like, oh, that was too much. And then I'm sitting there chewing for a while.
Oh, that was too much, you think? And I choked on one, man. One little cluster just chilled. It was just chilling in my esophagus, and it wouldn't move. It didn't go up. It didn't go down. That shit nearly took me out.
I can see that.
I'll forever be a Gushers type of gal. Like when I want my sweet, I go for Gushers.
Nice.
Challenge accepted.
And I only know because I put so many in my mouth is when I haven't wanted to get busted for putting them, like for having them.
Yeah.
And not getting anybody else candy but myself, being selfish.
Listen.
Just stuffed them in my mouth and walked away.
Yeah, once in a while, okay, you need your mom moments, and that is to refuel your energy. So you get yourself some clusters.
Heck yeah.
Okay, so, and I'm so sorry growing up, Oreo, to hear. That's absolutely horrible, and I'm so sorry for your loss. Oh my God. Marianne Morris, you're coming in late, but I'm happy to have you here. Okay, and this is going to be, I'm telling you, massive come August, and you're gonna be thankful that you hey, I happen to click on and see what that's about, because you're gonna be lost if not, but it's gonna be everywhere, and you're gonna wish, oh yeah, I wish I took a look at that. To Smarties. Ooh, Smarties are yummy. Hi Jamie G. Hi Lil D. Oh my God, I actually mixed my Skittles. You're kinky on Silent Bob. I mixed my Skittles and Nerds to get the same cluster effect.
Did you just say kinky?
Yeah, they're kinky, man. You're doing your own kind of thing over there. You're doing a combination. Okay, you're taking it to that next level. She's like, fuck that. I'm going to create it myself. Sounds pretty good.
Shit.
I bet you taste that rainbow. I bet you do. I know, what a cutie, right? So this is our missing child for tonight's live stream. This is Christian Justice. We've pulled Christian up before, but it's been a while. So he is 11 years old, currently missing from Detroit, Michigan. As you can see, it's been a while since he was last seen. He has been missing since May 24th, 2014. And he has an associated child with him, which is Kayla. Kayla would be 17 years old right now, again, from Detroit, Michigan, May 24th, 2014. And it says they may be in the company of their mom. She has been located deceased, though. So Kayla and Christian may be traveling in a 2004 Burgundy four-door Chevrolet Impala with Michigan plates, CCR 1286, similar to the vehicle pictured. So this isn't the exact vehicle, okay? This is a similar vehicle. So if anyone has information on their whereabouts, please contact the Detroit Police Department at 1-313-596-5600 or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-773-2587. Can you imagine, not only for the two kids to go missing, believed to be with their mom, and then the mom is found deceased and the kids are still missing?
Yeah, that worries me. That doesn't sound good.
Yeah, no, not at all. Hi, Allie. Okay, guys. So where to even begin? I don't even know. So we have Steve and Kristie, who went on the interview room last night, and they did an interview. And then we have all of this going on with Katherine Ramsland. Okay. So I'm going to pull up an old article of Katherine. I think it's from 2013.
We were talking about Katherine on your last live at the end when we were going over the statement from the Kohberger family after Bryan got arrested.
Correct. Okay. So this, I think, was posted just for context, because this is like an older, 2020. Did I say 2013? I meant 2023. I don't know if I said 2013.
I don't know. I thought you said 2023. I could be wrong.
Okay, then never mind. I said 2023. So this is a Newsweek article, and it says, who is Katherine Ramsland? So I was like, perfect to give anyone who doesn't know this little context. And it said, serial killer expert who taught Bryan Kohberger. And it says the man arrested on charges of murdering 4 University of Idaho students was reportedly once taught by Katherine Ramsland, a renowned expert on, you guessed it, serial killers. So Kohberger, 28, was arrested early Friday morning at his parents' house. So this is a very early on article. Early morning at his parents' house in Old Brightsville, Pennsylvania, authorities say, almost 7 weeks after Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan were found dead in a rental home in Moscow, Idaho on November 13th. So Bryan Kohberger is a PhD student and teaching assistant in the Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology at Washington State University in Pullman, located about 9 miles west of the University of Idaho. Before moving to Pullman, he received his bachelor's degree from DeSales University in Pennsylvania, 2020, and completed a master's degree in June 2022, the university said in a statement on Friday. But again, he was barely able to function, Shay.
He's got his diaper on and he's just sitting in the chair over there, not knowing how to handle his defense. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. About Kaylee and her life and missing her. I was gonna ask you, hey, was it worth reviewing or was it not worth reviewing? And when I say that, I'm not saying, of course, there's just two different things, two different types of interviews, and one that I would review, one that I wouldn't review. I would review the one like how we did with Drunk Turkey, where it's very it seems like big developments and information coming out. When it's ones that are more emotional and just giving an insight into like the family's experience or their loved one, I try not to go in because it feels icky to commentate over those things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Not info about the case. It's mostly personal. Okay, thank you.
I kind of figure that's the type that the interviewer would do, especially since both, Chris Madonna, his wife, and the Goncalveses have both lost children. Like, I would think it would be probably more memorialized, more somber.
Yeah. Tony says it was good but sad. Yeah, I can imagine. But okay, so let's keep looking at this. We have at the university, Kohberger was reportedly taught by Ramsland, a forensic psychologist who has spent decades studying serial killers. She has not made any public comments. Remember, this is 2023. She has not made any public comments since Kohberger's arrest. Quote, "I'm making no media statements at this time," she told Newsweek on Monday. Well, guess what? She spoke now. Okay? Yes, poor Linda. So it said Ramsland, a PhD, is a professor and assistant provost at DeSales University. She came to the university, quote, specifically to teach forensic psychology, focusing on her field of expertise, extreme offenders, according to her biography on the university's website. Having experienced the excitement of forensic psychology, she hopes to show students how to find and prepare for its many opportunities. According to the page, courses she teaches at the university include forensic psychology, psychological sleuthing. Isn't that crazy? Like there's an actual class for that. Psychological sleuthing.
It's fascinating.
Yeah. Dangerous minds and behavioral criminology. Ramsland hold a master's degree in forensic psychology from the John Jay College of Criminal Justice, a master's in clinical psychology from, I don't know how to pronounce that. Can you help me? Duquesne.
Which one?
From Duquesne University. Duquesne University.
Duquesne? I don't know.
Duquesne?
I've never heard of that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. And a master's in criminal justice from DeSales and a PhD in philosophy from Rutgers University, according to her biography on the Psychological Today website. You want to read?
Yeah. She writes the shadow boxing blog for the website, which is described as one that probe the something dark secrets. Is it right underneath?
The mind's dark secrets.
Probe the mind's dark secrets. Ramsland has published over 1,000 articles and authored 69 books, including The Mind of a Murderer and How to Catch a Killer. She also worked with BTK serial killer Dennis Rader to co-write Confession of a Serial Killer, the untold story of Dennis Rader, the BTK killer. She has appeared in hundreds
sorry, can we pause for a second? BTK was a twisted dark. I would love just to do like a random pop-up live on him sometime. Like keep it short and sweet, because he is fascinating, terrifying, fascinating, and his downfall, a floppy disk. a floppy disk, but not just a floppy disk because he became there's something about killers when they get away with it for too long, they take risk that they should never take just because they want to taunt and like wave it right in your face. And that's what happened with BTK. And thank you so much, Nini G. And hi, Natasha. Okay, sorry, I just want to say that.
I think BTK makes me the most mad because he gave himself his own nickname.
Yeah, that
torture kill.
And his crimes were very dark, very, very dark. Mm-hmm. Hey, hold on. Harlot says, have you seen BTK's creepy old selfies where he strung himself up in a tree and shit? No, I haven't. I have not. Have you?
No.
What?
But I mean, I've seen his artwork and stuff like that, but no, not that. No.
Yeah, the floppy did. All he did was literally like back when we didn't have technology and stuff, BTK wrote into police and was like, hey, they started writing like in newspaper, crazy shit. And he's like, so police, can you track floppy disks? Be honest. Like literally, this is what happened. Be honest. Like, tell me the truth. Can you trace a floppy disk? And the police were like, no. We can't. Jim John Doe. No.
No. Yes. No, sir. I mean, John, no.
So I kid you not, like the police were like, no, not at all. Like we totally can't. And he's like, all right, I'm trusting you. And then long and behold, what arrives at the police? A floppy fucking disk. And what did they do? They traced that shit right to him. And that is how he got caught. The infamous BTK killer. And it's like, what would make you think? I don't know. Like, and it's fascinating on a psychological level. Like, because I do link this stuff, like trying to understand Kohberger and what makes you trust them when they said, like, you should know better. But it's something where I feel like as a killer like that, a serial killer, they start to feel like they have a level of respect. Does that make sense? Like, I've gotten away. I'm talking to you. I'm coming. Like, and
yeah,
he believed that they would show him that respect and not lie to him.
It was so odd, though, that he had a really long cooling off period before this whole, like, floppy disk thing happened. Like, he buried himself.
He was, like, the head of a church and shit. Shay, you never know who's living next door, okay? You never know.
Yeah.
But sorry, go on. I totally derailed with that, but it's very, like, he is very dark. Very, very dark.
Yeah, he is. And he accepted the plea deal, and I think he did that out of respect for his family at that point as well.
Yeah.
And how bad it hurt them.
Yeah. The cops were like, nah, dog, we cool. Send us over that floppy. And he's like, I like, what? Like, after getting away that long, you sent it right to them. You trusted them. Like, what happened? I don't understand. I'm happy he did, but like, that's such a crazy thing, dude. And yeah, he's crazy because he lived so close to me. And like I said, like one of the places that the body was dumped, Peaches, like it's right here. Like, it's crazy close. And you never know. Again, another one where they're just living in a great community, a great town, a really nice town. And you just never know. You never know.
I think it was so fascinating how they were able to, like, especially with like Rex, they were able to track when he was using those burner phones, and it matched like his phone when they were traveling, even though he wasn't using his phone. Like, yeah. I mean, come on, Rex.
But he was another one that taunted the families. Like, that's a risky move. You call and you taunt the victims, knowing they're deceased. Like, oh, like the victims' families, knowing that they're gone. Oh gosh, they did.
And I don't think that they have the full scope of all of BTK's victims. I mean, that's what I took from his daughter Kerri, was that they were still going back based on some of the drawings of his dad's and trying to see if they could match like silos and barns and farms, like all throughout like a 3, 4, 5 state area.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
I feel like we need to just have like a live where we kind of don't have a plan to and just bounce around like these topics, because I love them. You know, I don't love them, but like each killer has really their own signature. It has their own, and you know what I would love to talk about one time, and sorry, my ADHD is clearly kicking, but
That's good.
the Katherine murders.
Yes.
That's one that always stuck with me. And like I watched something more recently where it kind of like had updates and where things are now and like more current theories, and I'm like, this just brings me back on how deep I went down that rabbit hole back before I was a creator, though, like, because that's a really messed up one, and I like hearing people's theories.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Python silent. Yeah. Told the whole national news the son of a bitch had a micropene.
Stop.
Wow, good for her.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But it's the Golden State Killer, which was the case solved by the IGG, right? But he was, I don't know, he's interesting to me with how he broke down in the courtroom, and I know I've showed you guys it a couple of times, Dennis Rader, where one after another of the victims' families came up for impact statements and said, I damn you to hell, you know, may you rot, and he was stoic. He sat there, but he was stoic, and it was the one father who came up in like a rainbow bow tie, like suspenders, like real cute looking old guy, and he offered him forgiveness, and he broke down crying, and that really interested me because that showed me he had some humanity to him. And I like to discuss like, well, what happens here? You know, are they a cold-blooded killer to where they have no empathy, no humanity? But that showed me that forgiveness, and maybe it was just an emotional response for other reasons, but it was very interesting on a psychological level. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and I believe, like, I have to go back and look, but if what Kerri said, BTK's daughter, was that she had like a pap smear or something done, and they were able to like use some genealogy to connect her dad to some of the killings as well.
Wow.
Like, I have to go back to it, but she's talked about it a little bit, and she's written books, you know, especially being a survivor's daughter. Like being a daughter of a serial killer. Like, I think she's the only one of the family that has talked to her dad, and she did talk to her dad once these killings happened, because she asked him if he had been speaking with Bryan or something of the sort, but don't quote me. I just remember kind of falling down that rabbit hole a little bit more, and a lot of that was kind of coming up because of the Ramsland connection.
Yes. Yeah, that's why polygraphs aren't admissible.
Oh, the Green River Killer, just that one's terrifying.
But just to let you guys know, Sherry Papini's coming out with a docu-series where she takes a polygraph test, and it's a whole like 4-part episode on ID Discovery where she's claiming once again she told the truth. And so anyone who's interested in the Sherry Papini story, I'm curious what it's going to show. But again, even if she passed a lie detector test, because there was a panel of experts on, you could find anyone to give you, if you need someone to pass, they'll pass you. That's why it really depends on who performs the polygraph test. But also, it's unreliable. It really is unreliable. It's just supposed to give law enforcement an idea of where you're potentially coming from, but not reliable.
And check about when Letitia tried to pay for her
Yeah,
polygraph.
that's separate. That's literally just not even like paying for fake results. Like, no, they're saying like even law enforcement, or like, let's say you had a private investigator. It's like, well, this private investigator knows the perfect place for you to, or a defense attorney knows the perfect place for you to go get one done. And you know, the polygraph test conductor would more likely pass if, you know, they wanted them to pass them, type of deal. Not literal fake results. But I guess that is fake results either way.
Yeah.
Okay, but go on. Sorry, you could read.
Okay. All right. So she's appeared in hundreds of crime documentaries and consulted for television shows, including CSI and Bones. Federal and state investigators are combing through Kohberger's background, financial records, and communications as they work to determine a motive for the killings. A law enforcement official recently told the Associated Press. Investigators are interviewing people who knew Kohberger, the official said. Citing Idaho law, authorities have said that they cannot discuss details such as what led them to Kohberger as the suspect until he is extradited to Idaho and court records are unsealed. He is being held without bond in Pennsylvania and will be held without bond once he is brought back to Idaho, authorities said.
And then I'm going to read this one, and this is what you were talking about, right? BTK killer's daughter sickened to discover Bryan Kohberger studied her father. So this is the daughter of serial killer BTK has said that she was sickened to learn that Bryan Kohberger, the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students, studied her dad. So again, you know, it gives the context. And it says investigators have not released information about a motive for the killings, but details about Kohberger's life and education have emerged, including that he studied under Katherine Ramsland, a renowned forensic psychologist at DeSales University. The university said Kohberger received a bachelor's degree in 2010 and completed his graduate studies in June 2022. Ramsland developed a relationship with Dennis Rader and co-wrote Confession of a Serial Killer, the untold story of Dennis Rader, the BTK killer, with him, okay? So she wrote it with him. Rader was arrested in February 2005 and confessed to 10 killings in Wichita, Kansas area between 1974 and 1991. He called himself BTK, which stood for Bind, Torture, and Kill. Rader's daughter. What?
It kills me that he gave himself his own nickname. It's like,
Yeah.
What a loser.
Yeah, what a loser. And thanks, FOS. Concessions, I think you mean Confessions of a Killer, was fascinating. Hearing what BTK was thinking during his crimes just hits different. I'm gonna read it because I haven't read it.
I'll find an audiobook.
Yeah, let's do it. So it says Rader's daughter, Kerri, told News Nation Brian Etten that her stomach turned when she learned that Ramsland had previously taught Kohberger. My first reaction was my stomach turned and I literally physically got ill. Serial killer BTK's daughter told me she was stunned when she found out the forensic psychology professor who wrote the autobiography on her dad was also accused Idaho killer Bryan Kohberger's teacher. So let's take a...
One of the most disturbing aspects of Bryan Kohberger's past is what he was studying, criminology, and who he was studying under at DeSales University in Pennsylvania. Dr. Katherine Ramsland, a serial killer expert who had a close relationship with serial killer BTK, even writing his autobiography.
What did you first think when you heard that Dr. Ramsland was teaching Bryan Kohberger?
Personally, my first reaction was just like my stomach churned and I literally physically got ill, knowing that there was now a connection back to Ramsland and she connects to my father. It was just a lot.
Kerri Rawson is serial killer Dennis Rader, aka BTK's daughter. BTK stands for Bind, Torture, Kill, and Rader is responsible for killing 10 people.
Do you think he may have had any sort of communication with your father?
Kohberger could definitely have had communication with my father. Well, obviously we know he studied my father in criminology classes. He probably studied him heavier since he had Ramsland as a professor. But we need to find out if there's a deeper connection. It concerns me.
A deeper connection, like if Kohberger was corresponding with BTK in prison. He would have had access because of his professor, Dr. Ramsland, who's appeared in more than 200 crime documentaries and was even on News Nation in October discussing the Delphi case.
Help explain to me the mindset of a killer living in a community where they have carried out, allegedly, this heinous act.
Well, if it is the person, the suspect that they have under arrest right now, he was married, so he would have had to have secrets.
Dr. Ramsland is known for her TV appearances, but she's not talking now. When I asked her about Kohberger, she responded, "I cannot make media statements about him at this time." For Kerri Rawson, the nightmare in Idaho has now come full circle.
I want to figure out how to stop it. Like, it's hard to be the kid of this guy and live with this.
I love Kerri.
And then see somebody else go do this and wonder, did your dad influence him? Did your dad talk to him? Like, was he studying my father outside of academics? I mean, am I ever going to get answers to that? I don't know.
And DeSales University released a statement initially saying that they are heartbroken by the senseless tragedy. We followed up with them with more questions about Kohberger and specifically what sort of research he was doing there, but we have not gotten a response, Natasha.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, she's been at like Crime Con. She's written a few books and is a victims advocate.
Yeah. So she said she added that Kohberger could have been communicating with her father, who is serving life sentences at the El Dorado Correctional Facility in Kansas. Quote, "Well, obviously we know he studied my father in criminology classes," she said. "He probably studied him heavier since he had Ramsland as a professor, but we need to find out if there's a deeper connection." Holding back tears, she added, "It's hard to be the kid of this guy and live with this, and then see somebody else go and do this and wonder, did your dad influence him? Did your dad talk to him? Was he studying my father outside of academics? Am I ever going to get answers to that? I don't know." So in tweets after Kohberger's arrest, Ramsland wrote, quote, "Ramsland has or did have a close academic relationship." Rawson wrote, "Ramsland has or did have a close academic relationship and friendship with my father, Dennis Rader, BTK. I have ongoing concerns knowing how common it is for criminology students, true crime fans, and others to correspond regularly with my father, that Kohberger could have been in contact with my father at some point, but require proof of this, which currently I do not know of." She also noted that her father's, quote, "graduated with a bachelor's in criminal justice from Wichita State University, making a mockery of this important field, using his college courses to study his own ongoing murders and get access to law enforcement information in the 1970s. So Rawson has been contacted for further comment, and she has not publicly commented on the case, telling Newsweek on Monday, Ramsland has not publicly commented on the case, telling Newsweek on Monday, "I'm making no media statements at this time." So Kohberger's attorney, chief public defender, Jason Labar, at that time, has said that his client plans to waive his upcoming extradition hearings. This is back when he was still in Pennsylvania. So he can be quickly transported. Why can't I speak? Quickly transported to Idaho. Mr. Kohberger is eager to be exonerated of these charges and looks forward to resolving these matters as promptly as possible, Labar said. Okay, I'm like bouncing around. I'm trying to give context. So then we have the Bryan Kohberger's teacher who taught him about serial killers speaks out. And this is all context for what we're about to get into for currently. So, again, we've read that already. So, is it? No, it's the same thing. Never mind. Okay. So what's going on now? Hi, so there's that. Let me try to pull up. Ooh, harlot. Oh my God. Harlot sent me the pictures from the tree. How have I never seen this before?
Hey, Wolfie.
Oh my God. That is terrifying. That's terrifying. How have I never seen this before?
I don't know if I've seen it.
Shay, you would know if you've seen it. Oh,
I don't know. I've seen a lot of stuff. Like before I came here, I was in podcast world, so I would follow podcasts.
holy macaroni. All right, I sent them to you. Thanks. I don't honestly, Lisa, I don't know if I'm allowed to show this without it being hit, like for potential very disturbing.
Oh my god, yeah, I've seen those. That's been a long time, man. Ew. Yeah, I wouldn't. I think you would get.
Thanks, Wolfie. Shelfie.
With the hot dog.
Where's a hot dog? Shelfie with a hot dog. Okay. Yeah, that's.
Oh, Harlan, that's so disturbing.
Okay. So what's going on now? What did Drunk Turkey Show have an interview with her?
So what I thought was that he had Howard Blum on, and
okay.
Then I think Ramsland responded to some stuff that Howard Blum was saying.
In the interview or in his Daily Mail article?
Well, he had the Daily Mail article, and then I think he had Blum on. But I didn't watch it all. That's why I was saying, I was like, I'm going to be really behind the mark here.
Well, if it's the Daily Mail article, my whole banner just went out. I could pull it up. I know they're long, but we could at least get an idea. But if it's something that's in his interview, do we need to go through the interview to know? Hi, K Hogs.
I don't know.
Buzzed. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, she's been on Surviving the Survivor. She's been on a few different podcasts.
Well, because Harlot had sent me these. And this original one was News Daddy, Brian Etten, who says, despite another report, Dr. Katherine Ramsland tells me that she has not communicated with Bryan Kohberger since his arrest. Ramsland was Kohberger's criminology profession, which it means professor, at DeSales University in Pennsylvania. And it has this video, which I'm going to go and get. But so did Blum, hi ATS, did Blum put forward that? Is that what is going on here?
So I think Howard Blum was insinuating that, remember something about in the Airmail article, something with Bryan communicating with Ramsland right before the crimes, and that Ramsland was speaking with Kohberger's family. Like, that's what I remember the topic kind of being around.
Shay, I don't know how to work Twitter.
What do you want off the Twitter?
I want the video from Brian Etten right there.
Oh, okay. I'll get it for you. One second.
So he says, slight correction, Dr. Ramsland was his friend's. So he corrected himself. Slight correction, Dr. Ramsland was his forensic psychology professor. And it shows the tweet. I had no email correspondence with Bryan Kohberger while he was at WSU. He has not been in touch with me since his arrest, which I found interesting. Since his arrest, like the day of the arrest, like the day before the arrest, because I'd be more curious. I have not been in touch or had any communication since he was my student. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Does that jump out to you at all? Like since the day of the arrest?
Yes. Okay, let me. How do you want me to do? I could send you the actual tweet.
Is there
And
a
that'll
video?
get you to the video. Yeah, it'll get you to the video.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I just sent it in Shofi.
Come here, news
And that
daddy.
has the video.
Okay.
It's like a 3-minute, 34-second video.
Okay, so it says, I had no email correspondence with Bryan Kohberger while he was at WSU. He has not been in touch with me since his arrest, which again, were you talking with him once he was no longer a student of yours, right before the arrest? Like, what does that mean? I called his parents as a gesture of kindness, but I do not advise them about the case. I did not call them hours after the arrest, as Blum claims. I have never talked to his sister about any book. I never mentioned Kierkegaard in my classes. I did not broker anything regarding a lawyer. I have not been invited by the Kohbergers to Idaho. I don't know where they'll be staying. I don't know who Blum's source is or why he reports information for which he has no proof, which, let's be honest, Blum has done this before.
So that was the other rumor, was that Kohberger's sister was co-authoring a book with Ramsland.
Yeah.
So this is why, like, I take certain things with the Blum stuff, like, I don't know, with a grain of salt.
As everyone should. But I want to know what specifically Blum said.
We'd have to get to the airmail article. I think that there is a video that that DTS went over that on.
Is it like a long thing?
No, it's like a 14-minute video. I can send it to you.
Okay. Then yeah, send it on over. But let's watch News Daddy real quick.
Okay.
He's doing well. I wanted to get on here and address something. It seems like as we get closer to the Bryan Kohberger trial, more and more speculation and rumors and just bad facts in certain articles that are out there. And I wanted to talk about something in particular. There was an article that was published recently about Dr. Katherine Ramsland.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've been following, you know Dr. Ramsland is a professor at DeSales University in Pennsylvania. She was Bryan Kohberger's professor when he was getting his master's degree in criminology when he was in Pennsylvania, before he went to Washington State University where he was getting his PhD. And we've known that. And this article claims, among many things, that Dr. Ramsland has been in touch with Bryan Kohberger, even recently while he's in jail, and a bunch of other things too, that she's been close with the family, and it speculates that that a motive could possibly be that Bryan Kohberger was trying to impress Dr. Ramsland. I know Dr. Ramsland, okay, so I'm going to be totally upfront about that. I've gotten to know her over the last several years. I've interviewed her for stories. I've always found her to be a very, very credible, nice, honest person. And she has told me that she doesn't want to talk on the record about Bryan Kohberger. So she's told me all along until after the trial, because she might be a witness. She doesn't want to interfere with the trial. She obviously knew Bryan Kohberger. She was his professor.
A witness?
So she doesn't
want to be a witness.
But she is now talking on the record about some of this to me, because she is saying that what is in this article is not true. And I'm going to read you what Dr. Ramsland texted me. I had no email correspondence with Bryan Kohberger while he was at WSU, Washington State University. So that's where he was getting his PhD. He has not been in touch with me since his arrest. It's a big point, because that's totally different than what was published. I called his parents as a gesture of kindness, but I do not advise them about the case. I did not call them hours after the arrest, as Blum claims. I have never talked to his sister about any book. I never mentioned Kierkegaard in my classes. I did not broker anything regarding a lawyer. I have not been invited by the Kohbergers to Idaho. I don't know where they'll be staying. I don't know who Blum's source is or why he reports information for which he has no proof. Some of this stuff, if you're not following, you can go back and read the article and you'll know what she's talking about specifically. So again, I know Dr. Ramsland. I have no reason not to believe her. And I don't think she's lying, and so I don't think the article is correct. And I just wanted to put that out there. And I think I want to correct things as we get closer to the trial. So I hope everybody's doing well. I'm actually going to Boise tomorrow. Nothing to do with the Bryan Kohberger trial, for a different story. I'm going to be doing a shoot in Boise, and then I'm actually driving from Boise to Portland, right across the state of Washington, for this story that I'm working on. But I'll obviously be there for the full Bryan Kohberger trial. And so that's sort of the latest. Hopefully that clears it up, because a lot of you guys were messaging me about this latest article about Dr. Ramsland, about that possible motive. Hopefully that clears it up. All right, bye.
Love you, News Daddy. Bye.
We love News Daddy.
I just pulled up the airmail article because come on, we got to look at this. And let's just see. So I think this is the one, right?
Yeah, that's the new one.
Okay. So it's the eyes of the killer. More than 2 years after the murder of 4 University of Idaho students, prosecutors are ready to offer a motive, airmail exclusive. Want to kill someone? Hate will get the job done every time. But then again, the heart has many resources. And in a pinch, love is all you need. All along, this has been the big question. Why? Why would someone furtively enter an off-campus home just before dawn and, armed with a hunting knife, savagely murder 4 University of Idaho students? Since the grim events of November 13th, 2022, it has been a perplexity that has fueled considerable speculation. And now, a despairingly long 2.5 years later, with the trial of Bryan Kohberger, the 30-year-old criminology justice graduate student charged with the killings, poised to start in August, a potential motive is at last coming into focus. I call bullshit already. Shay, I've never been, neither of us are really ever too much aligned with the airmail articles.
Right.
I remember early on in the beginning, you considered, because he was talking to locals, right? That's what it was. He was talking to locals, and you've always been very interested in what the locals were saying.
Right.
And I remember you went way far back on the Reddit stuff, on the 4chan. That was where, but you never really, you looked at little pieces, a little piece here or there that might be legit. But other than that, you didn't like how it came together, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, well, my biggest deep dive on it was connecting the stuff that we got from Brat to him.
Yeah.
That's why.
And so for anyone who doesn't know, Brett Norton is a TikTok creator. And I had a lot of issues with Brat's coverage. A lot of speculation, a lot of the Dot and the WSU Kim stuff. Now, eventually I had Brat come on the panel, and we did have a respectful discussion with her, but she was willing to show me a lot of things privately that I still feel like maybe I need to go back and kind of look through everything, because one of the things was she had linked up with, you remember her, I know you remember Harlot. She linked up with Blum, and she was hired, I don't even remember what she was to promote. What was it, Shay?
I think that she was pretty much hired to provide tips and sources to some of the stuff she was talking about. And then eventually she ends up on the Paramount series.
Yeah, about that. So that's what was concerning in itself, because Brat, according to Brat, wholeheartedly believed in this Dot person. This Dot person claimed to have literally been Dot took on the identity of a real person, a neighbor of the Idaho 4 murders, but wasn't there. But she claimed to have seen things that would incriminate the surviving roommates. It would implicate other innocent people into the crimes. And then it even escalated as far as being in the getaway car after the murders type of situation. So the problem with being a source and like a little independent, PI for Blum is I don't know what the fuck Blum was thinking. You can't just have like a TikToker, no offense, the same way you can't just have me like come on in and like that doesn't make sense. But you would think with the information that you're getting, you would know that this isn't legit. So it was very concerning to see the type of information that was being funneled out to Blum. But I don't remember even where I was going with that.
Sasha. Yeah, pretty much right now.
I hit my vape all throughout my discussion. It's not a good thing. Yeah, pickle, I know. But that I don't even know how to like wrap my head around, which, oh my God, we're going to need to talk a little bit after this article because I'm going to have to mention the comments I've been getting on such older videos about Kim. We're going to have to take a detour after this article and talk about it because I'm starting to get pissed off. But okay, hold on. So
I will say this.
Yeah.
I watched Surviving the Survivor when they had up Howard Bloom and J. Reuben Appelman, which both were authors of Idaho books. Difference was Appelman was actually from Idaho, his came out first. And then I noticed that, and they had Kevin Fixler on as well, which is one of the lead reporters from the Idaho Statesman. He's like my favorite reporter, just because he's just always in the know. And so it's interesting whenever I noticed they were like asking questions of Blum. If you watch Appelman and Fixler's face, like Blum is more theatrics. He's more like fictional. And it's interesting to see the others who are trying to write a book or report on a story that are trying to be more fact-based, like in comparison to the interview. It was just wild. Like you could even tell in that setting, like how far Blum goes off. Even Nancy Grace has to rein him in. Like that's why I take these articles, his book, everything with a grain of salt.
But I think he hit the interest with Katherine Ramsland because, like I showed you guys, this has been going around since as soon as Bryan was arrested and named, and it's been circulating for a long time. And that possibility of did he work closely with Ramsland, even unbeknownst to her, studying specifically BTK or getting her knowledge on the killers and putting forth his plan. No, I haven't, FOS. Okay, so, and hi, KV. It says, it provides the prosecution with a narrative, like many of the lingering mysteries surrounding the events of that tragic night, has no kinship with conventional reason. Try, for example, wrapping your head around the disturbing fact that the two survivors were aware a black masked intruder had entered their house, had heard the accompanying tumult, yet waited 8 hours before calling 911, rising at about 7:30 and then frittering away the morning on social media, taking photos and calling parents and friends. It is an explanation, a hypothesis really, that becomes credible only when examined through a different manner of cognition, the inscrutable workings of Bryan Kohberger's mind. At its root, it's a love story of a sort. A love story. A love story. Okay. I get it. He's got to make it nice little bow and a nice little wrapping paper. All right, go ahead. So it says apt pupil. So once upon a time, the yarn the state is hoping to spin begins. Bryan Kohberger was incomplete. Oh, he had laboriously strived to reinvent his life by the time he had enrolled in the master's program in criminal justice at DeSales University in Pennsylvania. He'd kicked his heroin addiction, lost more than 100 pounds, turned his body into a fortress through exercise, a vegan diet, and boxing, and made his way out of a dismal community college. And yet, something was still missing. Then he found his calling, a forensic psychology, the new science of exploring the dark caverns lurking in the recesses of a criminal's mind. And as luck would have it, he'd also found an unlikely friend and champion to guide him, Katherine Ramsland, a recognized authority in the psychological study of serial killers, a prolific author of, at recent count, 59 books, and a familiar face on True Crime Network and cable shows, where she reliably brings a measure of academic gravitas? What is that?
Gravitas?
Gravitas? To the
Gravitas, yeah.
proceedings. That's what we're going to go with, gravitas. The professor had done it all. And as Newsweek first revealed at the time of Kohberger's arrest, Ramsland was also his teacher. For a graduate class she taught at DeSales, he'd read her seminal works, Inside the Minds of a Serial Killer, Why They Kill, and A Confession of a Serial Killer, the untold story of Dennis Rader, the BTK killer. Yet, what the prosecution discovered, which has not been previously reported, is that Kohberger's relationship and tutelage with Ramsland did not end when he traveled across the country to enroll in the PhD criminal justice program at Washington State University. He remained her acolyte. Kohberger was allegedly emailing his old professor in the days before the murders occurred and in the days immediately after. So this is what is causing the stir right now. And hi, Carolyn Cooper. And what is making Ramsland speak out, okay? So you could reach.
What was discussed remains for now at least another mystery. Neither the state nor Ramsland has responded to requests for comment. Nevertheless, Aramel has learned that just hours after Kohberger's arrest, Ramsland allegedly telephoned his mother to offer her wisdom and guidance to help her former student and his family through the looming ordeal. Her offer to act as the cool-headed broker for the Kohbergers was quickly accepted. The Kohbergers supposedly refused to meet with their son's court-appointed Pennsylvania attorney until Ramsland signed off. Now I'm going to go actually get an interview after I'm done reading this, because I think it says something about this with that.
Please do.
So over the 2 years that followed, the professor allegedly stayed in touch with the family as well as with Kohberger himself, offering sources share practical advice to help navigate the often overwhelming intricacies of the stern criminal justice apparatus. She's even reportedly conferred with one of the Kohberger sisters, who is said to be writing an insider's account of their wrenching family drama. In fact, the Beleaguered, I don't know, is that what that is?
Wait, where's that?
It's like third sentence. The Beleaguered family has asked her to consider accompanying them to the Boise bed and breakfast that Ann Taylor, the head of their son's defense team, has reserved for them during the course of the trial.
Oh, third from the bottom. Beleaguered.
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 Nailed it. Thanks,
Nailed it. But beleaguered. Thank you, Callie Lisa. We were gonna keep trying there, huh? It was none of our options. Got it.
From these facts, the prosecution has embroidered a still speculative account of what allegedly led Bryan Kohberger, armed with his 7-inch steel-bladed knife, into the house on Keene Road. It goes like this. Kohberger wanted to prove that the pupil was ready to become the teacher. He was determined to demonstrate to the professor, who, according to this theory, was the idolized object of his respect and affection, that he learned all her lessons well, and while her journey into hell had been judicious, reaching out in letters and interviews to convicted killers, he would charge full speed into the belly of the beast. No passive, arm's-length academic posturing for this researcher. But even more, he'd kill and get away with it. He'd prove how smart he was. He would show how much he'd learned.
Mm.
And the hypothesis continued. With the raging, crackling anger that was unleashed, Kohberger would demonstrate to the object of his devotion the sacrifices he was prepared to make to win her comradeship. Like John Hinckley, who had tried to assassinate Ronald Reagan to win the heart of the actress Jodie Foster, a woman he'd never met. Kohberger was driven by his own twisted erotomania. Wow. Okay. Kohberger
Okay.
too would let
I
his
feel like
demons
you're
run
using
free.
big words on purpose, Shay.
I know. I
You're
told
just doing
you.
this. You're setting us up for failure, Bloom.
It's fantasy. Like, okay. Kohberger
Erotomania.
too would let his demons run free, and in the end, he triumphed. His far vision would take him someplace where his mentor had never dared to journey. And in the proud aftermath, after all his struggles, he'd at least be complete. What does Ramsland make of it? She's apparently not talking. She's never responded to my emails. Nevertheless, she might find something in the theory. After all, in another episode in her remarkably accomplished life, she wrote her doctoral dissertation on Kierkegaard. It was that
Kierkegaard.
Kierkegaard. It was that Danish philosopher who conceded that, quote, my writing should be considered a monument, unquote, to Regine Olsen, a woman with whom he had a brief evil relationship. Is it too far a stretch to consider that a killer's logic had made a similar heartfelt journey?
And that's that. And I signed up for, I had it. Now I will forever get weekly damn emails from this Newsweek just to get that one stinky. Because as soon as it's like, you want to read the rest? All right, put your email in. And I did. And you know what it said? It said, thank you. You will now get weekly for the rest of your life.
You could unsubscribe. You could unsubscribe.
I was like, shit.
You're like, I'm totally hooked.
Dude, like it literally said like weekly Newsweeks forever. Like shit.
Forever. Well, I will gladly admit I signed up for Idaho Statesman and I have no regrets.
I know you don't. But for me, I don't like Blum, and I knew what I was getting into because I remember we read like the first one ever.
Yeah.
That one was long. This one I got 5 minutes for the rest of my life. Like I may as well junk that email now. Shit.
Oh my god, you're killing me.
But this is sorry. This is what caused all of the hell now. So let's circle back to Ethan's tweet. Okay. And again, so despite another report, which is what we just read, Dr. Katherine Ramsland tells me she has not communicated with Bryan Kohberger since his arrest. Ramsland was Kohberger's criminology professor. She was actually his forensic psychology professor at DeSales University in Pennsylvania. So she wrote, I had no email correspondence with Bryan Kohberger while he was at WSU. He has not been in touch with me since his arrest. I called his parents as a gesture of kindness, but I do not advise them about the case. I did not call them hours after the arrest, as Blum claims. I have never talked to his sister about any book. I never mentioned Kierkegaard in my classes. I did not broker anything regarding a lawyer. I have not been invited by the Kohbergers to Idaho. I don't know where they'll be staying. I don't know who Blum's source is or why he reports information for which he has no proof. I'm going the wrong way. So, Howard Blum, at Katherine Ramsland, has issued a statement about my recent piece. 1. She confirms she reached out to BK's parents after her arrest. Oh, you cocky motherfucker. You cocky motherfucker. Because he starts it out with, let me just make sure you realize that she confirmed what I said, okay? She confirmed it.
Oh
She
no.
confirmed she reached out to Bryan's parent after the arrest, which is true. It is true. But a broken clock is wrong twice, right? A day.
Right.
And so, right. No, I was too. And that's what I was about to say next. But, I'm a big believer. There's always usually a little bit of truth layered underneath, all of the lies. And so there's a chance anyway that in that whole article there might be one or two things based in truth, and then the rest is just who knows whether he embellished it, whether he was told other things that turned out not to be true. But that doesn't surprise me too much, and it doesn't invalidate the fact that you got other things wrong according to her. Oh yes, growing up Oreo. Oh yes. So 1, she confirms that she reached out to Bryan's parents after the arrest. 2, she refutes that Bryan emailed her while at WSU. I apologize for that matter and that error. Continued. Want to read 3 and 4?
Yes, hold on. I was trying to grab that Jason LeBar thing I was telling you about. Okay. Katherine Ramsland states she didn't demand that BK's parents get her approval before meeting PA lawyer. I never wrote that. Nevertheless, they did.
He did write that though.
4, there's a chapter on her student BK in her forthcoming book. Can't wait to read. Sure, it will be perceptive. Continued.
There's a chapter on her student.
There's a chapter
BK
on
in
her
her.
student BK in her forthcoming book. Can't wait to read. Sure, it will be perceptive.
Huh. That's interesting if that's true. And then we have. Did he do 2 4s?
It said continued.
Oh. No, because this says continued 2. I think he did 2 4s. He did 2 4s. It's okay. You fucked up, dude. It's all right. Number 4, number 2.
States she never taught Kierkegaard in her class to BK. I never said she did. I think she missed the point of my reference. And 5, I still stand by my hypothesis as just that, a theory.
So, I don't know. What are your thoughts about that?
I think he got called out and he didn't like it.
That's
my thoughts.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. And then I know Harlan.
Because remember, he got into it with Steve as well about the book. Because yeah.
Okay. 40 seconds and 19. Okay. There's a clip of Katherine. Okay.
Has made me cautious, and and my students have grown cautious as a result of coming to my classes and learning, just about the fact that yes, some of these killers are incarcerated, but they have groupies. They have people outside who write to them, who are murderabilia freaks or crime junkies, as they call themselves, and those are the people who can be dangerous. So I think I take a fair amount of caution in what I do. I don't really talk that much about my private life to anyone. So it's changed me clearly because so many of the killers I have encountered were ordinary people who passed as normal, who had families, who were educated, who you just don't suspect. You can't see it. Like, people ask me, how did I not see Bryan Kohberger right in front of me? Because the signs weren't there. It's always easy to look back in retrospect, but when someone's right in front of you, they pass because they're predators, and they are very vigilant for their opportunities and their advantages.
Can you just remind us what show you were going to be on tonight?
I'm going to be on News Nation. I think we're going to talk about, I think, Rodney Alcala. But sometimes I get bumped, so I don't usually. I'm on News Nation about every 3 weeks.
Oh, wow. Okay. That was just a quick, we want to keep watching you. We have a lot of questions, Katherine. Do you mind staying an extra few minutes?
No, I don't mind.
Okay. We won't get to all of them, obviously, but we're going to try to get to as many as possible. What is your take on Rex Heuermann? DNA has linked him to 7 victims. Do you think he could be linked to more?
Interesting. He's actually the inspiration for the 4th novel. Oh. Because I do think we have not heard the end of the story on him. And whether he'll ever confess, I don't know. But I think we're going to find that there's more involved in this case than we currently know. It went on for a long period of time. There were other males in that area. There's certainly another guy who was convicted of killing 2 other women and dismembering them in Manorville, Long Island, who is now saying, I want my case relooked at because it could be him. Or there's more than one person operating, because we have serial killer teams too. So I think this case is complex, and we haven't heard the end of it by any means.
I don't know how you don't have nightmares all the time. You know, impressive. Susan asks if you have any thoughts on who the killer or the profile of the killer for the John Bonet case might be.
Oh, I don't want to get into John Bonet. It's such a complex case, and I think I'm going to just leave that one alone. I will say, when John Mark Carr gave that weird confession, media people woke me up and said, "Oh, we got the killer. We want you to make a statement." And I said, "Well, what did he say?" And they said, "Well, he said he was with her when she died." And I said, "That is not a confession by any stretch." And it turned out he wasn't the guy.
Really interesting.
Sorry, I'm gonna have a bad taste in my mouth. So you will not give us your expert opinion on John Bonet's case, which tells me you want to go into the territory of the parents and you're not going to go into the territory of the parents. That's what I take that as. But you'll make sure to say, hey, I knew it wasn't John Mark Carr. I woke up and I was like, what did he say? And they said, this is what he said. Nah, good night. Okay, really? Sorry. I don't like that.
No, I don't either.
Thievy? Yes. Sorry. Yes. In the shortest version of an answer, fuck yes. They do. They do. Very much so believe that.
Stephen asks, during the Gilgo Beach investigation, I believe a professional was of some repute said that profiling is very inaccurate. Do you have any information about whether that is true or not?
Well, the myth is that profiling is a science. It's not. It has never been scientifically tested or anything set up for that. There are a lot of people around the world actually working on making it more, focusing it more, but it's never meant to be like Criminal Minds shows. This will identify your killer. It never was meant that. It's a tool in the arsenal. It works with the profilers. Don't go in and take over cases. They give consultation from their database, and their database is pretty good. BICAP has thousands and thousands of cases, so they can use computer analysis, but it is not a science. And I think people should stop trying to think that's what it is. And it isn't imprecise if you have the right data, but data in is data out. So if you get the wrong data on something, for example, there was a killer in Louisiana, a black man, and the police decided Black men are not serial killers. So they completely wiped out any details that people offered of the Black men being seen in the
That's not
neighborhood
true.
of some of the victims. They just eliminated that as part of the information they gave to the profilers because they were operating under the wrong idea. So a lot of it depends on the quality of the information they received from the jurisdiction in question.
What did she say that wasn't true? Because I was reading Harlot's comments and laughing my ass off.
So she's saying that Black men can't be serial killers, and I agree. It's not true. One of the most prolific serial killers up in the 90s, up probably hundreds of victims, is a Black man. He's a serial killer, and he was charged for his crimes in Texas, actually.
Damn.
So, yeah. It's a pretty big one. Before I think it's right around when Golden State Killer and all them were going down. So did he.
Wait, she said a Black man can't be a serial killer?
Yeah, so she's saying as they're interviewing people, they're not asking about like race. They're assuming that like Black men can't be serial killers.
What?
Because there was like a lot of like, studies before that it was predominantly white men. She's saying that's not true. There's an assumption happening, a bias happening, and it's preventing them from, solving the crime with that bias. That's the way I took that.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And if they don't receive good information or detailed information, they're not going to be able to do very much. But profiling has been useful, and I've seen studies where detectives who have used it have talked about its use, but it should never be mistaken as a precise science. It never was that. It hasn't been that. I don't know if it ever could be.
Yeah, it seems like it couldn't be because it's so dependent on humans. We're so
it is, and it's subjective. It's based on probability analysis, and probability analysis always has an error rate, and that error rate grows with inaccurate information or insufficient information.
So this is more of a generic question about the psychological makeup of the serial killers. Why do they do it? How do they plan it? Do they want to be caught? What is their psychological background? And Stephen wants to know, is there the common denominator to these killers?
The one thing that all serial killers have in common is they've killed at least 2 people on 2 different occasions. That's it. That's the definition of a serial killer. It is not a criminal type. It's a description of a behavior. There's so much variety. We have well over 5,000 documented. There's so much variety in their motives, their makeup, their developmental trajectories that I can't give you a generic notion because it's not a criminal type. It's not like a pedophile, where there's a lot of commonality from one to another. It's a description of the fact that they have killed 2 people on 2 occasions.
I feel like, because it's supposed to be 4019. Oh my goodness.
We went past it.
Yeah.
The one in Texas I was talking about was Samuel Little. He confessed to over 93 kills between 1970s to early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot.
So they did find some remains, but there was one that they never did find that Wayne kept saying, he's here, but now it's way too late because there have been hurricanes that have wiped out this beach entirely. But back at number 11, the second day, they have 17 bodies in that boat shed. 17.
Okay.
Map out.
Okay.
And I had told them about what had happened at the Buzzard House with them mentioning him, that I
Sorry,
should have contacted
there was no
him.
warning.
That was back in 2008. And I said that it had inspired Ice Cream Man. He read Ice Cream Man and he thought I hadn't really quite gotten the accomplice dynamics in it. And so he consulted with me before I wrote In the Damage Path, which has a tornado. The other one has a hurricane. I love weather. I put weather in everything. And so some of the things he told me ended up in Damage Path, as well as this book, The Serial Killer's Apprentice, which is the nonfiction part of it. So, and also I used John Norman Collins, the guy on the motorcycle, to talk about some things that went on in the damage path. And the reason I called it In the Damage Path is because in tornado lingo, the damage path
I'll drop it again.
is what you find after a tornado has passed through, and you understand the nature of the tornado and its behavior by what it leaves, the damage it leaves behind. And I thought that's exactly like a serial killer. So that's why I named it that, because there's a serial killer who also leaves a path of destruction similar to the tornado. And then this will be sort of the last of my murder memoir. I had a student named Bryan Kohberger, who is currently the chief suspect in the quadruple homicide of the Idaho students. I will not take questions about this case because he was my student, but I will be writing about my experiences with him in my memoir. So there we are. Okay.
You know how I take that, but I feel like I'm always a negative Nancy, but you know how I take that, Shay. I know you know how I take that.
How do you take that?
No questions, but if you want to know, you could buy my book for $29.99 once it's released. I'll be talking about my interaction since he was my student. That's how I take that. Which, yeah, I guess I can't hate on it. You know, it's your thing, you know, but like, that's how I take that.
Buy my book.
Yeah, buy my book. Yeah, I won't take any questions, but I'm going to write about it. And if you want to know, you got to get it. You know, we'll be on bookshelves in 12 days, like whatever it is. But that's how I take that. Yeah. Hi, Betty. Okay. I have to talk about something, Shay.
Okay.
So, and for anyone who doesn't, you know, hasn't gotten all the way back, me and Shay, again, have been doing Idaho coverage from the beginning. And like we've said, we did a lot of debunking. And one of our videos that always gets views no matter what, like it just still to this day generates views, which isn't common, like as a creator, like a lot of, you know, I mean, unless you're a bigger creator, like, you know, after a while, like they don't, but not our Kim lives. Our Kim lives, all like a year, 2 years ago, I'll still always get comments under them, like it's still something people go back to, which I get because they're interested in it. But I've been getting a lot recently of people who
like to revisit that one.
They're revisiting it, but not only are they revisiting it, they're trying to rub in our noses that Kim was right. And I was like, wait. What? I don't think people really remember what Kim has claimed. As soon as you guys heard Snapchat, good night, Justin. As soon as you guys heard Snapchat, you jumped to Kim was right. But do you not remember? There has been nothing that has come out that corroborates Kim's story. And so right. Shay, what is going on? They heard that they were on Snapchat, but we've got further clarification that they were making calling Ethan on Snapchat, not that there was a mass group message with others already. Yes. Right. So what is going on, Shay?
Because it's wanting to believe that there's this alternate theory out there. To believe that, you got to believe Kim.
Well, it's been bothering me because it's not one, it's not two. I've been getting a lot recently, really since the motion in Lemonade regarding the text messages and stuff came out. And I don't know if we have to go back, which I know we don't want to go back, but
let's play the Kim live. Let's play it.
I feel like we have to go back to remind people.
Oh, I love the Kim live.
What, you want to pull it up now?
Why not? If you want.
Shit. It's a long live, but we could absolutely tap right into that, baby. Let's see.
I love it.
Oh, God. I see people who's Kim.
Oh, you could take that while I find the live. You could tell them who Kim is while I do this.
Okay. Can't believe. So WSU mom Kim is she's a parent of a student that went to WSU, or other children as well, but one predominantly she talks about. And whenever the murders happened, she was pretty active in the Facebook groups as kind of a pretty caring, protective mom. Like, we don't know what these kids are going through. Like, but she was super curious of like what happened. And then on, I think December, was it 12th? I think December 12th is whenever the SWAT standoff happened with Brent Kopaka and the WSU team had started moving students out of those apartment complexes. That's when you started seeing a shift of WSU's Kim mom's thoughts and theories on this case in the public forums, and she was scared for her children. And the story started growing. It was that her children were evacuated from these apartments, and that's when I noticed like this fear kind of like crept into her, and then the stories just kept rolling from there. And she, I think, made an appearance of talking with Chronicles of Olivia, and then Daniel with Drug Turkey Show interviewed her, and then it kind of went from there, and then the stories got bigger, and she reached out to other creators, wrote emails,
She
claimed
wrote a fucking letter to none other than, what's his shit name? What's his name?
T-Rev.
T-Rev. Okay, if you don't know who T-Rev is, good. You're more credible as a subscriber if you don't know who T-Rev is. And I feel like maybe people forgot that as you're coming over to my lives saying that, oh, Kim was right. Kim was right. She said, and I hate repeating it, but you have to understand, organs were missing, taken from the victims. Okay. Like literally a heart missing.
Mm-hmm.
Pregnancies. Really bad things. But God, tell me how Kim was right.
Well,
yes.
So Kim held on to this Snapchat thing because there were other people that had come out, like Dave, and had mentioned something about Snapchat. So like she would just kind of hold on, like grab different theories from different people, different places, and like make them part of her story. And it just grew way too big, too fast, and it developed into she claimed that she had like an insider and close like people that she could contact with Idaho State Police and the FBI. And all along, her or her daughter had never officially done any kind of police report or interview with them.
Nope. Never.
With all the information that she had about the crimes and the people and everything.
Oh, Natasha doesn't know about Kim. Oh,
and then she would pop up in live. So she was a chatter, and she would come in as WSU Mom Kim. And people would be like, oh, what is she going to say next? And she happened to come in Melissa's live and decided that she wanted to be questioned by Melissa.
Well, let's be clear. Because everyone covering this case pushed her bullshit. Everyone. Because guess what? When she came up on the panel, you know what you would get? A shit ton of super chats, a shit ton of gifted memberships, a shit ton of subscribers. And so all these creators, even including Dago, who Dago privately, when Kim was up on my panel on this day, was flipping out, desperately trying to get her off panel. Why? Because we were debunking her. We were calling her on her shit. And we were really the only ones, and Jules, who really pushed back on the Kim story.
Yeah, and Neat Noodle, I disagree with you. I disagree with you because if you just saw her only chatting in the Facebook groups, like she was just a concerned mom. She was not spewing any kind of crap. She was very much protective of the kids, not going along with any of these drug house theories.
And she was defending them.
defending them. And then after that, it's like the wheels fell off and Kim went with it.
And if you guys, like, we did a live where we went all the way back to the start of Kim. And if you go to my like channel and my playlist and just go to like popular, you'll see like, oh, what a tangled way web we weave, Kim. So if you want to know the context and the story, like, it's there. But
and the
I have it up now, some Beach Holly, so we'll go through some of it now. But the one where we give the full context of where Kim started in those Facebook groups and how her story evolved to what it was, I'll drop the link for that one.
And the whole Kimbleweed thing came about because we said her story was like a tumbleweed. It kept rolling and picking up stuff.
Just picked shit up as it went, one little weed at a time, and it got bigger and bigger. Oh no. See, Kim broke my shit. Thank you, Scarlett. Thank you for becoming a member. Welcome. So it became bigger and bigger.
She ended up being on the Paramount series about
this.
Why? I'm sorry, but why?
Yeah, she was on the fucking Paramount series, which made them all look like idiots. Like, it was bad, man. It was real bad. And it was, oh shit, I'm frozen. She broke my whole thing. I'll be right back.
Okay. No,
I can't even leave. Okay.
We could still be friends. It's more so that I wanted to like understand where her narrative changed. Like, where did she start, like, I don't know, shifting it and it becoming bigger than it was. And it was just kind of easy to follow from there.
Yeah. Okay, so here, let's take a listen.
Because all these theories still come back up. People talk about them.
Oh, yeah. But I do not need, and we're going to have to do a live with the title. Hey, let me remind you, like, of the Kim stuff for all, because then those are the people who are going to click in, the ones who are leaving the comments, But hi, Jenny. They need to be reminded of the shit Kim said, because just because Snapchat came up, honestly, it would be more curious to me if Snapchat didn't get mentioned with an age group of this, but never has any of the information Kim stated come to fruition yet.
And Kim was stating that like a whole bunch of like of the Greek people from Idaho and WSU were aware of the crimes before the police were called. Like, in the way she would express it, it was like hours and hours before.
Oh, she's here. She's been doing this in Rogers' community.
Yeah, she's been around.
Though. But she's here. All right.
So
don't get confused, because there's an old Shay and an old Melissa, and then there's a current Shay and a current Melissa. So we'll try not to confuse you guys. Let me put the screen up. Hold on. Ugh, I hate how it does that. Okay, is that you?
Yeah.
Okay, hi.
This is Kim.
I don't want to get into a screaming match with you because.
Neither do I.
Okay. So, first of all, you have so many words where I can type what I have to say, and I got a full paragraph. It's way more than that many letters. So,
maybe I should
and I understand. And I let myself that attack against me. I get it. Many sleepless nights, many, but there was no drama involved. I didn't even know what YouTube was, except for to fix my dryer, which was 12 years ago the last time I looked at it. Literally the president, not the president of the country, but I call him if I thought it would help. I would do that. I promise you. The president secretary at U of I said, get on YouTube and don't stop talking every day until somebody does something.
Yes, let's start right there, shall we? The president of U of I got in touch with Kim, a random mom, just a random mom, and said, you get your little ass on YouTube and you scream and you don't stop until they listen. So basically Thank you, Kim. You are the one who are gonna like solve this case. Mm-hmm.
That to me is terrifying alone, that message.
Wait,
why
so
aren't you
who
doing
said that to you?
The secretary of the dean of students or the president, because I called everybody every day for months. Mainstream media, I called everybody every day because nobody was listening to what I was looking at, what actually was going on. But these kids aren't safe. This is way bigger. The kids knew it. And nobody's listening. And who do I know? But I still got 2 kids over there when my son transferred, but my daughter didn't. She graduated from there. And no, I don't know these children. Olivia reached out to me for Steve. I've never spoken with Steve a moment.
Chronicles of Olivia, who's a creator who is now actually dating Kaylee's brother, Steve Goncalves, his son, Steve Jr.
Right.
In my life. Steve talks to me through Olivia and I answer questions. And he asks me questions and I answer them to the best of my ability. And if I don't have an answer, I go and try and find it. And if I can't, I don't. Information has started to come out over this and I still ask questions. So to say that I didn't know one thing in the beginning and I know something new now, well, we all do. But I just happened to discover because I hound my kids and their friends about it. So I'm just being a mom. I'm not a sleuth. I'm not a detective. I don't have
just a normal
any goals.
mom.
I didn't want anybody to see me. I sent to Rev a letter for Detective John. The information I will tell you.
That is the letter where she claimed victims were missing the organs and pregnancy. She claims Xana was pregnant.
That all this got back to the families. That's why, like, we were like, this is sick.
Yeah.
Tell you, for the rest of my life, that is the worst moment of my life. I thought I could trust him. If you listen to what he said in the beginning, because I could not listen a moment longer when I found out, because I happened to be at Moscow when he did that. But for the record, doing something with Olivia, for Olivia. I don't know and I don't know what Steve's part was, but I was doing something there when I discovered that he had done that. That's why I put my face out, because they were putting some other lady out there. This is really me. That's really my face. It really is. And I tried to protect it for my kids, for my safety, for my family's safety. This isn't a safe situation. These kids aren't safe. Those police officers in Blum, right now, if you're sending your kid back there, really think long and hard. Ask for more from these schools. Ask for more. Ask for transparency. Ask for truth. You know? I mean, Bryan Kohberger, and I don't know if he did it. I don't. He's in orange. He did something. I'd say to him, what'd you do wrong? Because you're in an orange jumpsuit. And you're in handcuffs. So what did you do? Nothing happens like that. It's not. They didn't just decide they didn't like you because you were a mean TA. Which, for the record, he was a mean TA. I've never met. I have 7 children. Not one of them has ever liked a TA. Sorry, that's why they have to take the class for the PhD. So they learn to be nice teachers. That's why they do it. He got in trouble. He was on probation. They usually are.
It's not why they do it, but okay, Kim.
That makes me guilty. I don't know that it doesn't.
Was that old Shay or new Shay?
It was new Shay. I was like, that's not why they do it, Kim, but okay.
I'm even getting confused. Which Shay was that? I didn't see a bubble. No.
That's not why that they become TAs to learn how to be nice teachers. Shut up.
He's a whole ass joke.
I don't know what he did. I do know because that there's Greek Row is involved, and my kid is Greek, so I know these things. And my son was the top recruit for Greek Row his freshman year, and opted just to play basketball and not even to go there because he was offered cocaine.
He was offered cocaine
on his bid day, and
sorry, I forgot about this. So, one of Kid's students, at a party on campus, was offered cocaine. Dude, this led into the whole, because Kim was very much this drug conspiracy. If you haven't been to a college party that offered you cocaine, you haven't been to a college party, okay? But Kim has this intertwined in some big drug organization, tunnels underneath the house, type of shit, okay?
I called the police department, and
she
I've
called
been
the
fighting
police.
with these police. As a mother, I'm going to call the police. I am. So when I learned about what happened and that Peyton had known it and all of this stuff went down, I didn't even call their departments right away. I called the FBI right away. I thought I could because my daughter was in Washington and they were in Idaho, and so it crossed state lines, so that might qualify. But they already have a quad drug force there anyway. So, you know, they don't, what are they doing about it? This is a huge problem on these campuses. Terrible problem. There's no, and I know it's everywhere, but I was petitioning to have Greek Grove shut down on both campuses, and my daughter loved it. I would leave her at Wazoo, but I would have preferred to have Greek Grove shut down. Honestly,
shut down Greek
So
Grove.
I understand people don't like what I have to say or don't believe what I have to say, and that's fine. All I'm here for is to keep it on page one, and I will answer questions. And if I've missed your question, I've always said to everybody, call me. I'll answer you if I've missed it. I apologize and I try and answer. That's why. And when somebody says something or misstates what I've said, I'm
okay. So this is again. I've said it before. Nothing is going to piss me off more than when people come into my Kohberger lives and talk to me as if I am one of those people that do not realize conspiracies happen. I am the most open-minded person you will ever meet, and I'm usually the one with the tinfoil hat on, okay? But that doesn't mean that's always the case. But don't talk to me as if I'm not willing to be open to some outside of the box theories. But you have to base them off of facts. And so far, all we gotten was cocaine offered. So chill. Snow your roll, as Natasha would say.
I'm getting on your panel.
Unless you're claiming
and when you have numbers, I'm getting
Kaylee's heart was missing and Xana's fingers were cut off, which honestly, like that, I could see a medium ground with that as far as like defensive wounds. But was she pregnant? Are you in that line of believing? Because you cannot pick and choose which parts can be true and then forget all of the rest. You can't do that. You can't be biased and confirmation biased, right? You have to either accept all of what she said or none of what she said. Not did she get one part of it right. I won't chill. This is me. You know, Detective John, you have to know J-Rod on point, and especially Shelby. Wow. Or how about Justin? And thank you, FOS. How about Justin? Okay. I don't even want to go. I don't want to look back at this.
Oh, Justin.
Okay? I don't want to look back, but it's going to come up, and I hope eventually these people are held accountable.
And if Xana really were pregnant, that would have been listed as a fifth death.
Yes.
On your panel, if I feel like there's been a lull, it's purposeful. My actions are purposeful here. And it's the same paragraph I keep telling and correcting. And as I learn more information as it comes out, then I correct it. I also have, I guess, local information that is helpful. Moscow is better shopping. For Bryan Kohberger to say that isn't weird. But you wouldn't know that if you weren't from there. It's the truth.
It did, Patrick. Thank you. Okay. So, can I ask questions?
You absolutely may. Thank you for listening and asking. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming up. Do you stand behind putting 5 kids first and over 18, but 5 people's first and last names out there and holding them somewhat responsible for this murder?
I said I believe they could have stopped it, and I still stand behind that 100%. Yes, I do. They could have stopped it.
No, you said that there were 5 people.
They were present.
And Bryan was the lookout.
I said I didn't. Well, maybe I did say that, or it came out that way. So if it did, I would change that to say I don't know what he did. That's what I would change it to say. I don't know who harmed these kids.
This was my first issue with Kim. The first time I heard from her on a panel, she took 5, and I say kids, but they're legal adults, but oh my God, they're kids, okay? First and last names out there, they're actual students, and accused them of being involved and was there. Do you know how dangerous that is?
Oh, super dangerous. Even people that There was people you never even heard of before, you know?
Yep. Yes, FOS. Respectfully.
But I do know that I stand behind what I said I do, yes.
But you don't think it's dangerous at all to put those people's information out there and holding them accountable and then risking a family member distraught, not in their right mental state, obviously, naturally, and maybe taking revenge into their own hands based off the information you are stating.
So I guess where I stand with that is these and they are kids, but they're young adults. My daughter came to me with information. A lot of kids went to their parents with information. These people, these young adults, these kids who went there and did that and didn't come up and say what they did and what happened to these kids, these other 4 people, well, that's on them. I'm sorry, but you put yourself there, and these kids are still in danger because this is, and I know they're afraid. They need to come out. They need to start speaking because they're in far more danger being quiet than they are not coming out. This is so much bigger than these kids
Good night,
are.
Holly.
And I don't think people are hearing that. And the police don't want to hear that. And the school definitely not. Neither school wants to hear it. They want to bury this. Nothing to see here. Just write your checks. That's what, it's a business, right? I get whatever. These kids are in harm's way and they know something. Come out and say something. No, yes, I stand behind it. And I apologize if that's not how you would do it, but what chance do these kids have if they don't, 4 kids were annihilated because they knew information.
What?
It was to shut them up.
Okay, so keep that in mind. Their lives were taken. Xana, Ethan, Maddie, Kaylee. I'm leg slapping, I'm sorry. Their lives were taken because of information they knew. Information they knew. Information.
Okay, so I'm not going to give you all the details of the information just because I don't know if I can or if I should. And I just don't think I should give, but I will give it to you as best I can. There's
I don't think I should,
crimes to this,
but I'll do
to
it.
the murder. The murders were because of these 2 parallel crimes, and that is what what the information I have given them is. I made sure the defense had it because I don't know if Kohberger did it. I will shoot him if he did it.
What?
But he wasn't alone. And
what? Man, for someone who's even rattled a bit by cocaine, I'll shoot him if he did it. Shit. Oh, shit.
I forgot she said that.
It escalated so quickly. You went from anti-Pablo Escobar to Pablo Escobar very fucking quickly.
I believe that with everything in my being that he wasn't alone because so far these children haven't lied. These students who had those group texts early in the morning have not lied. They have come to me.
There we go. The group text.
I believe that. I don't have any reason to believe the police.
Have you seen any proof?
Stitches get stitches. Yep.
You have seen evidence.
They have the Snapchats. They recovered them.
Have you seen them?
I have seen. I saw a text message.
Wait, was it Snapchat or was it text?
There were texts. They have the text. They have all of it. But Snapchat was the problem because they snap in groups, and so when you snap in groups, then you unless you memorialize it, I guess. I don't understand, but unless you memorialize it, and they memorialized them, a lot of the Wazoo kids, because it was Parents' Weekend. So obviously they're putting that into their reels or whatever. So it was just by chance that it was, whereas it would just go away and it would be gone. So these were recoverable. And
so what specifically have you seen with your own eyes?
They were both, that Bethany and Dylan were home. They were in the first floor, in the bedroom downstairs together, locked in. They heard a lot of noise. There was a loud party. There were people there. And they...
Okay, let me pause there because I feel like people hear only what they want to hear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then disregard all the rest that does not line up. So,
right.
Okay. Dylan and Bethany were together on that first floor. That was true. That was true.
She said there was a party there, though.
But there was a very loud party there going on. Okay.
Not true.
Not true. Not true. And I said from the beginning, and you never agreed with me, but I always said, what did I say? I feel like there might be a tiny, itty bitty sliver of truth, just like I said at the beginning of this live, not even related to Kim. I tend to always believe there's tiny little bits of truth underneath a whole bunch of shit, you know? That wouldn't be so far of the realm of possibilities to me, because she did have children who went in the area and connected to through these sororities, right? That there might be a basis of truth just swamped underneath all of the extra shit.
Where I disagreed with you on was that, so one, okay, first off, there's two different colleges. Second off, there's different Greek chapters, like different sororities, different fraternities.
I need my pretzels for
To
this.
think that they're all talking and it's going in between multiple sororities and fraternities, and to another college campus, all before 911, I can't get behind. Could I understand why she would say Snapchat? Yes, because it is a common thing that kids use. But I think that she pulled on different theories that were out there, and it's just not plausible to me. I've done the Greek stuff. It's just the way she's connecting it, I don't see it moving that quickly.
No. And if there was any basis and anything Kim said, do you not think Anne would be on top of this shit? She is trying her hardest, the most. Yet Kim knows the 5 names of the people involved. All of them not Kohberger, yet Anne can't produce one.
Right.
Fuck out of here.
And they didn't want to hang out, and it was loud, nuts. And I said, and then what happened? And it's really kind of, so then.
Did you hear that?
And I'm trying to be really.
Did you hear that?
What'd she say?
No, not Kim. Did you hear like something hit my keyboard?
Yes. What was it?
A fucking shit.
Was it a nerve?
No, it's a Dots pretzel. It went flying.
Oh, I didn't know what that was.
It was a Dots pretzel. Everyone calm down. I think it hit the letter F. Just a little bit of dust residue on it. It's fine.
I'm getting my gummy if I'm going to have to deal with him. If we're going that route, I'm going this route.
So I respect that, and I appreciate that about you. So I'm trying not to misspeak, but that they were there, that they were scared, and I said, when she said they were scared, I said, well, why were they scared? And she said, well, because there was creepy guys outside and inside. And I
But she's saying
who said that?
She's referred to her daughter.
My daughter. That's what my daughter.
So okay. Bethany and Dylan were scared because there were creepy guys inside the house and outside the house.
Mm-hmm.
And her.
I know, but wait. What did you specifically see as evidence, as proof? What have you seen?
A text message. I saw a text message from her.
From who?
So I'm not. I can suffice to say that the person is believable and that the defense has it, and they did call me about it, and I've spoken with the investigator on both sides.
She's seen text message. I can't tell you from who, but I can tell you the defense has it, and I've spoken to them. Oh yeah, have we heard about this text, Shay?
No.
No, we haven't.
Yeah,
text message from someone to your daughter?
It was a text message from, yes, it was from someone to my daughter, and yes, and I'm not going to
before 911 was called.
They were. Actually, that would have been after 911 was called. Have you
seen anything with your own eyes from before 911 was called?
No.
How are you going around saying it with certainty?
How? Because why would they call me and say that they have the Snapchat records if they didn't?
That
If what
does
I said
not,
was
honestly,
untrue.
Kim, it doesn't matter why I may
From the
think
FBI?
someone may or not do something. I'm asking you, what evidence have you seen for you to be, no offense, but for you to be speaking as fact, and you haven't seen any proof with your own eyes?
Well,
yeah, Natasha.
Okay. I mean, and that's fair enough. That's a fair enough question to ask, and fair enough for you to ask me and to question me, which is fine. I'm fine with that, right? I understand what you're saying.
Melissa.
I believe my daughter, because why would she lie?
It's also worth saying that you'll find out later in this that there were people that were trying to get Kim off of your panel.
Oh yeah.
She was talking too much, like it was in the corner. Because she's used to be able to get on panels and just talk about her theories and just blah 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 blah.
Everyone would host her. Everyone would entertain her. Nobody would ask a hard question. I don't know why she came up on mine. I didn't ask her. She appeared. She felt confident. She knew what I was saying about her, like calling bullshit. And she still came up. She still came up.
Lie to me because she wants to stay at school. I mean, it was a huge deal with us. It was a huge deal. I wanted her home. It was unsafe.
We don't know that,
Purposely,
Natasha.
she did not.
You hadn't heard of that, Natasha, because that's not been stated yet. Now, I will say, I wouldn't be surprised if we will find out about a very deep wound in her fingers. Well, we did hear something about a defensive wound, including her fingers, but I just want to be clear, not about severed. Not severed, but very deep, as if you would go in to grab the knife, defensive wound type of, but not severed.
Yeah, I think her dad alluded to it when he had a interview with to him was local in Arizona reporter.
Yes, very early on. But with Kim's letter, Xana was pregnant and her fingers were clean cut off. That's not the case as we know it right now. Correct. Truth exposed, yeah.
Not tell us why we were still there. And she didn't tell us because she knew I'd put them in the car and take them home. She did. That's a fact. She did know that. None of the kids said anything to their parents. We didn't know until 5 o'clock that evening. So I guess being a mom and having common sense and then calling the FBI and then later finding out and discovering, because the police had come out and said, yes, people were there.
Her dad.
Early in the morning. And yes, Hunter Johnson was there. And I can say Hunter Johnson because everybody said it, right? I mean, his name is out as he's the one who supposedly gave CPR to Ethan or opened the door or whatever they're saying he did.
Not CPR, no. See? So it was only more recently that we just found out that door was opened. See, so even Kim, if you knew the story, why wouldn't you clarify us right then and there? The door was never closed. Right? But the narrative from News Nation interview and Steve was Hunter came there and had to push open the door as if Xana's body was up against it, and then perform CPR. We now know that is not the case. Judge Hippler. It's Judge Hippler. Okay. So you're talking about, right, the response, right? Judge Hippler's decision as far as the motion in limine regarding the text messages.
Oh yeah, the order because of the present sense. Yeah.
Right. Making sure they know it's the present sense impressions and excited utterances. Never included severed fingers like you just wrote in there, right? You said Dylan and Bethany. No, I'm sorry, that Dylan. Yeah, no, Dylan Bethany wrote saw Xana face down with severed fingers at 4:30 in the morning. And now you're saying Judge Hippler even said no in his order, allowing certain text messages to go in, referred to Dylan passing and seeing Xana on the floor and what she believed in an intoxicated state. Nothing about fingers. So again, you can't pick and choose. Yes, Tanel, you can't pick and choose though, but this isn't just what you said. You didn't say Dylan saw Xana on the floor at 4:20 a.m. I will scroll up.
I think she said something about her face. Saw face down on the ground or something.
She wrote, like Dylan and Bethany knew from 4:20 a.m. that Xana was face down in the ground, fingers cut off. You see how this is what the issue I have. You took just right here that Dylan saw Xana on the floor at 4:20, which I would not disagree with, and you added Dylan and Bethany knew from 4:20 a.m. that Xana was face down in the ground with fingers cut off. Yeah, no shit, you added severed fingers. That's my point. You can't just add shit when you want to add shit. No,
okay.
There is no main. The main point is you need to be accurate, Tanel. That's the issue. Be fucking accurate. Because who's to say I can't start off this sentence with a truth and add 3 lies at the end and then say, hey, but the main point is I started with the truth. No, it all needs to be true. This is your guys' issue. Seriously. But if you only stuck with facts, how am I going to debunk it? You're sticking with facts.
I think that's what Banfield said.
That's what Banfield said.
Yeah,
yes. I don't even take what Banfield says.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I don't speak with them, because they have called and asked me to come back after and I'm like, no, you want me to say what you want me to say, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I know and nothing more, and not more than I can tell you. So I understand why you question what I'm saying to you. All I'm saying to you is my message is that there's way more going on here.
But how are you able to say specifically what's going on? Because you're saying that this is what my message is, right? There's more going on. Yet you are saying in grave detail what occurred. How do you know that?
So, okay. So I will, and I don't really even, so we were assigned an Idaho State Patrolman. I'm not going to give you his name, but we were, and I called about something specific, and he gave me a plethora of information, which is where most of that information came. Why would I not believe him? And why do I not trust him now, or any of them now? Because they're pretty good.
Is law enforcement corrupt in only the sense of they're covering it up, or can you now trust it when it's the information you want to hear? See, it's either they're corrupt and you can't accept anything, or they're not, but you can't just use it when it fits your narrative.
Agree. I don't believe that all of law enforcement in Idaho is corrupt.
Did you hear me, my old self, Tanel? You can't just pick and choose. Use it all. And then make your argument, because let me be clear. There are arguments you could make and valid points, but you can't pick and choose and then use it one way when it suits a narrative and then use it another way when it suits that narrative.
I don't believe all of Moscow law enforcement is corrupt. I believe they all know what's going on in Moscow, but I don't believe they're all involved. But they're all looking the other way, which in my opinion makes you involved. Do I think this state patrolman is corrupt? I didn't think he was corrupt. I think he just overspoke.
You're welcome to know.
Is what I think, honestly. That's truly what I believe. And and it was horrifying. And my only reason for going to T-Rev with any information was a back and forth with Detective John and him sending, and these kids going back to school where they were going to be unsafe. Why did they not put our kids on global? Well, my son went globally for the remainder of the year until he transferred for this year, for his junior year, to the East Coast. But not everybody can do that. I get it. But they can all go globally. We're ready to do that. COVID made us very prepared. And they didn't want to lose the revenue. And it became about that for both schools. You know, when Kopaka was killed, we got a call at 3:30 in the morning and he's shooting up the same side of, and now, first of all, I want to tell you something about that interview with Darren. I did leave you a message, and I did leave Darren a message too, that my intention is not to say that Kopaka did it. My intention is just to say, but he had a gun on the south side of campus, and my kid absolutely did nothing.
Here's the thing. Xana didn't see anything, right? Because she was no longer here. But yeah, I think you mean Dylan, right?
And not everybody was evacuated, and nobody's telling us the truth and what is going on. And you're dealing with scared parents, and that's, I think, where it's coming from. And I wanted to apologize. You know, I thought
that's not where I have. Like, I want to be very clear what I have the issue with. I don't have the issue with, hey, there's something more going on. Hey, there's something that doesn't add up here. What I have the issue with is you giving out very specific details about pregnancy status of a victim's location.
I just resent you that.
Who was naming people who were involved? That is a very big difference than, hey, there's something bigger going on.
So, here's Kaylee's injuries are very...
Melissa.
Were very...
Yeah.
I just resent you that email she sent.
Would you guys like to hear the email? I will give you a trigger warning, but I understand you need to hear this to understand what I'm arguing with Kim about in this moment right now. So
I know you have it, Melissa. I just sure it's probably buried. I just looked it up.
It's buried, yeah. So this is how Kim started off, and she sent an email to T-Rev with this inside information she got from these sources, okay? These ISP officers and president of the fucking university and shit. So she wrote, and this made way around everywhere, man, because T-Rev went live with it, right? So Kim writes, "Hi, I consider myself an intelligent person with a good instinct. I believe I can trust you not to share the following." Spoiler alert, he went live with it. "I cannot and will not provide receipts." Starting off strong, right? "They are not mine to share. They are the families who have said this chick is nuts, okay? I have shared them with Drunk Turkey Show and the one that shall not be named here, and they have fully vetted me before I was made dark on social media. I'm the WSU mom, the one that was on the Drunk Turkey Show. Honestly, I actually reached out to you first, T-Rev, but your line was busy, and I think I connected at one point, but I'm not a tech person. I'm not sure what happened. When I discovered that other parents with relevant information were struggling to confirm information had been received by law enforcement or were waiting for callbacks, I started calling the schools, the governors, the FBI in Virginia. And when the president's secretary at U of I told me to call everywhere, everyone, every day, I did." Yeah, you do, MK. "She also told me about YouTube and sleuthing. So I did that too. Olivia, with Steve's blessing, did that piece. I find out anything, I tell Olivia, and she decides if she tells Steve. I promised him through Olivia, until it's solved, I will do it every day. I won't let this go cold. It could have been my daughter. Her name is redacted. I'm trusting you to never tell anyone. My number is redacted. I am happy to scream everything I know to be true because Jack D and Adam's alibi used my daughter's home and lied." Hey, Nav. Now Jack D was Kaylee's ex-boyfriend, but like current boyfriend still at the time. He got a lot of allegations thrown towards him, and Adam was someone that they knew from the bar.
He was a bartender, yeah, and a friend.
So she's implicating both of them and saying that her daughter was used for their alibi, which apparently and still never have been able to figure out. Are you kidding me? Okay. So Jack D and Adam's alibi used my daughter's home and lied. My daughter has eyes on her 24/7. She's a senior. She is graduating with Jasmine, who is Xana's sister. A young girl who are Linson every day. A young girl who is in my home every day. In high school was one of Kaylee's best friends. I am not the family, nor do I know them. I'm a parent at a sister school who is terrified and heartbroken, and 6 more kids are dead since the 4. I believe you have a social responsibility to the community by the way of your platform to consider that law enforcement, the landlord, the jacks, the college, the attorney general, all of them are involved. Your platform is yours alone. Your panel I find to be less than effective and only wanting to be correct. Spinning the wheel is boring people and will lose interest. The case will go cold. I find myself in a place that is terrifying. My other 2 have transferred. My daughter will be out of there next week. My conscience and heart will not allow me to set this aside. Please, I beg you to ask the viewers not to talk about the extent of the injuries. I did not sleep for 2 months. In fact, I went to my doctor. It was so awful. It's better now. But I know Kaylee's mom doesn't know, or Maddie's family. My daughter is friends with Xana's sister. They will walk together next week. Xana was pregnant, which will come out. I hope, because 5 people died. I know Xana's sister listens. I know Kaylee's sister does, and Ethan's half-siblings listen too. Sigma Chi and Phi are all involved. My daughter received the call at 10 a.m. that morning. When I say I did it to protect her and to warn people to be careful, I am not looking for notoriety. I have a full life. I am blessed with 7 amazing, educated, successful children. I can't wait to never look at true crime again. Although I now feel we ignore and look away when we can help, which, by the way, she's been in the Sebastian community, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I have refused to be gagged. Law enforcement can fuck off. They are dirty and deep. I'm going to tell you from every mountain till they are all in prison. So you are aware, the information I provided to the FBI is in evidence with my name attached, and some family members have reached out. Kaylee's mom did not see Kaylee, only her dad. She was unrecognizable and her heart was stolen. Jasmine does not know Xana's hand was cut off, and her fingers, on the other hand, were stolen, which is why the media kept asking about bagging the hands, and law enforcement simply said some reply, which, again, bagging the hands is routine. It's routine. You bag the hands to preserve evidence for potential DNA underneath the victim's fingernails. It's routine.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't bag them because hands were missing. So,
but she got that from Kathy Mabbitt's interview because she mentioned their hands being bagged.
Yeah.
So she gets stuff from places, guys, and kind of weaves her little web.
Are you ready for this? Maddie was beheaded. Oh, yeah. Maddie was beheaded, but for a vein, whatever that means. And Ethan was knocked out with a wrench and woke up, which is why he was killed. Originally, the guys shaking them down that he saw knocked him out. The killers were different guys, and he woke up, so they tortured him, then let him die. What person needs to know that? But it's your platform. You called me a whatever, so here's your whatever. Drunk Turkey has your receipts, and I'll talk to your call. I will take your call privately. And Detective John, I actually thought Daniel was Detective John, and that's why I contacted them after you. So Olivia has been protected. I trust her. I text when I learn something and they make it their own. I'm not a troll and I do not want to be known. I want justice and safety. I'm furious with you, but I respect you. Kim. So again, little things that I think can be true. We know that Kaylee now, was punched in the face, had injuries. Is it so far out of the realm of the possibilities that little truths as far as what was going around close in that community, she may have been privy to, heard her daughter talking, because all the way in the beginning, she didn't know anything. She didn't know anything in those Facebook groups. But things would be talked about locally and more information would be known, like Hunter talking to friends. I'm sure it got around a little bit.
And then from there, I'm sure she was hounding her daughter for information, anything. And then she would bring it here, and it evolved, it kimbleweeded over. But how do you go from that little bit of truth to Maddie was beheaded? Not only were Xana's fingers now severed, the other hand was completely cut off. Completely cut off. Kaylee's heart was missing? Are you kidding me? And Xana was pregnant? What, like, so I don't want to hear shit about, oh, they mentioned Snapchat. Oh, no, come back to me when that's proven to be true. Because unless that is proven to be true, I don't give a fuck about anything else. Because the families had to see that. The families had to see that. You don't think every narrative they didn't run right to them? When Joseph Morris put out his fake 911, not 911, the fake audio of the murders captured on, like, you don't think the families heard that and even for a second had to listen to that thinking that was their child's last moments? Fuck out of here.
It's wild.
Ugh.
Well, and she says that the FBI has the receipts, but then we get further in the interview and you find out none of them have talked to the FBI.
Yeah. Ugh.
Kaylee's injuries were very specific, and I really wanted Detective John to call me to go talk with him through it because of seeing where I should go with it, because there's not a lot of places you can go.
But you're getting this information from, again,
yeah, but there's not a lot of trust with the police departments. I do trust them. I don't think they're all corrupt, but I don't necessarily trust them.
So all of this information that you have been repeating has all sourced from this one person. What's their title again?
The T-Rep. He was the officer and our contact officer. He's our contact officer.
So they're a contact officer in WSU?
No, in Idaho. Washington State didn't even have its own police department at that point because they were all fired for sexual misconduct in September, which we didn't find out about until December. So we only had Poland Police Department then. So I mean,
you don't know any of this for a fact.
Well, I know it. So here's the thing. I'd rather be wrong, because I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. And have you all hate me, but no other kids die. That's what I'd rather happen.
But I'm not looking at a lot of people.
I'm not looking to hate anyone. Again, what I have an issue with is you naming people based on.
I stand behind the names I named. I stand behind those names. And I did not get that from the police
how?
department. That came from the students. I'm not going to tell you how. I can't tell you how.
But do you not think that that's very irresponsible for you to do? And also, if you were going to claim fear,
you know where most of those students are now?
It's not my business. I don't look into that.
It is if they were there and they're saying nothing.
But you're basing that off what? Again, you're basing that off of what? Okay. How do you know who was there the night of the murder?
That I can't. And unfortunately, and here's the thing. I will tell and hopefully when this is all, when there is justice and it is solved, I will come to you first and I will tell you exactly where. I will tell you every single thing and give you every name and every receipt. And you don't know me from Adam. And you don't know me anything. All I'm saying is that I think the parents that are over there need to really, really think long and hard. First of all, about sending them over there, your kids. And then about getting into the school and asking for answers, real answers, the truth. What's going on over there is beyond the path. Like, it's like,
based on what you hear. Right?
I'm
not doing it to be annoying. I'm trying to get it very clear.
So I have had students. So since I have come forward and said things, Dave's Lana has come out, but other people have come out from other states, from other places.
Dave is just, to be fair, how the heck I could be Dave with a voice changer and a bad narrative. I can't verify Dave.
Okay. And fair enough. But I can tell you that he is, and you don't have to believe me. And I did not vet him. I did not do any of that background. I didn't do any of it. But I will tell you that he is not lying, and he is terrified. And here's the other thing. So this Linda Lane footage. So you're very right about this group of people with this Linda Lane footage. So when I get a phone call, I make a phone call to the FBI, and I just give it to them because there's a lot of, out there that I don't know, that I'm not going to bring up. But I will tell you that I don't know what I think about that Linda Lane footage, but I believe that the person who put it out there called me, but I believe they may be having an affair. You're right. I think all of your instincts about that footage and the people who are putting it out there is correct. And Rory did disentangle.
But all of your instincts about me, you're wrong, Melissa. Okay, sure.
Himself with it. I do know that because I've had several conversations with him about it and I spoke with the proper authorities about it.
So can I ask, why has your story evolved? When you first came on, right, it was my daughter had heard, and correct, I don't know verbatim what you said, but it was something along the lines of your daughter had heard, she was, oh shit, the Kimberly, she was like, Mom, I already know. You're like, what? How do you know? And it's, she had heard.
Right,
and then it turned into your daughter was used as an alibi. Is that correct?
Her home was used as an alibi.
Am I here? Help.
Yeah, I'm here.
No, am I here? Shit. Every time I do that.
Oh, he's gone again. Oh, this is wild. I know we'll get into it where we start asking her questions. I like it when we get to the point where we start asking her if she's talked to anybody from law enforcement. It was like, no. And you're like, this whole hour plus she keeps talking about she's talked to people from law enforcement, and then you catch her in the lie, and it's like,
yep,
really?
Okay. Daughter was used as an alibi. Is that correct?
Her home was used as an alibi, yes.
Can you get into that a little bit more and explain it?
You know what? I really cannot, because I don't know if the person who used it as an alibi did it unintentionally and was unaware. I don't know enough. I did call and told and that's how I knew other alibis had lied, because when I called our officer, I said, I need to tell you, I think something's changed in this story, and I'm not putting my finger on, and I don't know, but let me tell you what I know now, and let me correct that with you, because if it's wrong information, I'm going to correct it.
Yes,
right? And so he said we've discovered several alibis that have been lying, and thank you. They don't give me answers, and it's rare for somebody to tell you anything. I don't call to get information. I don't call and ask. I call to report. I don't deserve information. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Hi, Kim. My name is Shay. Question for you. So when...
Hi, Kim.
Hi, Kim. My name is Shay.
So Shay would always, because I always was a hot needed one, and Shay would always come in more like calm. But there were times with Dot that once you pushed her to that place, she would snap 10 times harder than me.
My Dot snap is, I don't know. I've watched it before, and I have zero regrets on my Dot snap.
It was so good. I loved it. Hi, Kim. Shay.
Play it again.
You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Hi, Kim. My name is Shay. Question for you. So when...
So polite.
When
I hate hearing myself.
by Ellie that they had the Snapchat history that you're referring to?
So I turned it over to them. I said you can have our cloud and everything, not knowing that I don't have to give permission. They can just take it. So I said, you're free to take anything. So
yes,
there was never any information other than when I went to, I got an email from our cloud that it had been entered. So then I called I called the Apple people, I guess. And then I called the police and, my friend, and they had been able to get back the memorialized snap. Because I offered them our phones. I said, you can have our phone. You can have all of our phones. You can have anything you need.
Was this like right after the crimes or
it was excuse me?
Was it right after the crime or was it recently?
It took a long, no, it was much longer than that. It was probably, like in May. It was probably right before they got out of school, maybe, or maybe a little before that. It was not. It was definitely after they went back for spring semester.
So can I tell you like what I have a hard time with, and this is what what is a concern, and I understand leaks happen, but like there's supposed to be a gag order. So I'm just wondering, like, why would they solicit that to you and put the case in jeopardy in general, right? Because you want it fair for both sides. So those are just that's kind of one thing that like I teeter on. And to be fair, Melissa has said that there's truth in your story, that there had just been so much changing. So I don't want you to think that's an attack, but
I understand that.
We also don't like dragging innocent people.
I agree with you. And I will tell you that.
I agree with you, she said.
It is fluid. I mean,
that'd be a good lawyer.
Said, I agree with you. Right 5 minutes ago, she told me I stand on the 5 innocent people I accuse. I stand on their names. Fuck you.
I know. I just went in with the softness.
Oh, I know, which I appreciate because you don't want to be attacked on a panel, but ooh, like she's something else.
I know.
As they come out, yes, I can say that. Yep, that's not, because there's so much misinformation and there's two sides. There's no gray in here. There's black and there's white, and it just seems like there's no middle of the road. Like to even consider that, yes, it's Kohberger, but it's these people too, and then it doesn't solve the problem. It just gets rid of. It puts a Band-Aid on it.
I'm running to the restroom.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't prevent it from happening again, which is where I'm in that gray, right? So, yes, you're right. You're right. But I suppose saying that the Snapchats are out there is a leak, but I also, part of that leak was purposeful. It is purposeful. It's definitely purposeful because these kids think if they have Snapchat and I'll give you a perfect example. And there's a content creator out there who has made a connection with two fraternity boys who she has a tight connection with and believes them, and very much so. And I'm glad she worked with them, right? And so, but they don't know that their snaps are out. And the problem is their snaps are out. That puts them in harm's way. And I'm saying to these kids, you're in harm's way. Your snaps are not protected anymore. They've been memorialized.
They're out?
The police, law enforcement, and the prosecution the prosecution and defense have. Yes, they have them. I know that my daughters are, and she's in that 10 o'clock group. Who knew at 10?
You're saying 10 o'clock is when they were known. 10 o'clock is when they were known. Do you know what context of a Snapchat message was? What was it?
It was that exactly what I've said, that when I called, she said, I know, Mom. And I said, you know what? She said, 4 students at UI were stabbed. And I said, how do you know? And she goes, because they were Pi Phis. And I said, how do you know? You're not a Pi Phi and you're at Wazoo. And she said,
they weren't all Pi Phis.
One of her sorority sisters' boyfriends goes to school there, and he's friends with them. And she told them, and she texted them, and she gave the group Snapchat and the snap. And I said, well, what happened? And she said, they were stabbed, and
it's okay, Patrick.
I said, well, who did it? And she goes, I don't know. And I said, well, and she said, and we got to somehow that 2 people survived. And I said, well, don't they know? Weren't they there? And she said, well, they were there, but they, it's a party house. And I said, qualified party house. And she said, drugs and stuff and dealing drugs. And I'm like, so you're telling me it was a drug house? Have you been there? And she said, no. And she goes, I don't even think they dealt drugs. That's never what I've never, and I want to just be very clear here. I think the house was the target, not the kids. I think they learned something. I think drugs was an underlying issue, and it was not the main issue that was going on with that house. And I think Kaylee had discovered what was going on, and she was going to solve it. That's truly what I truly believe to this day.
So Kaylee found out some big drug organization ring was going on, and from that, all 4 of their lives were taken. Really?
It's funny though, if they say that all these Snapchats were happening, don't you think that they would have been included in part of some of that documentation that we were seeing with the roommates, like, and what they were doing on Snapchat? Like if they were telling
and
other
said,
right.
Yep. Because if there were any messages that would also be excited utterance and present sense impression. Hey guys, I don't know what's going on, but we didn't see that.
All we saw was that they kept getting on Snapchat because they were checking what Xana and Ethan's staff location was. Geolocation, whatever.
Yep. Yeah, oh, well, exactly. You didn't hear about the laundry machine with the blood on it?
Oh yeah.
Kim's house, her laundry machine, guys, had blood on it. And it was letting her know, you better cut it out. It was a threat.
Yeah.
They weren't involved. They just were caught up in it and taken advantage of, because it's kind of cycles through, is what I've learned over. Because
but
my daughter always knew
I think we got a little off track though.
I know. I can get off the rails. I'll promise you that.
It's okay. Yeah. And I'm not trying to be repetitive, but if I don't have the answer, it's going to bother me. So
so I know, and I appreciate, you know what, and I appreciate you keeping me on the rails. So
no, it's okay.
Yeah, so I don't have. You can't insult me. I mean, I honestly. So I said to her, I said,
of the context though is like whatever. Was it a single Snapchat message within a group? Do you know the specific?
It was a group
context?
snap. No, it was a group snap with the whole house, all of the girls
like
in
a
her
group
house.
message of all the people,
in her house, not her sorority house, but in her live out. She lived in a live out as well as like what they lived in. She lived in something similar.
So there's that.
Mm-hmm. So you know,
but
what I'm
there
saying?
was an incoming message around 10 a.m. You're saying?
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Do you know the context of that message?
Yes, that there were. So the 4 students had died. 2 were alive. They thought it was a party. Guys were creeps. That's where the word creep came from. They were creeps, and they were guys. And I said, well, where were they? What? And she said they locked themselves in their bedroom. And I said, where? And she said in the basement. I'm like, okay. And she said it was just, there was a party and it was a drug house, and that's what and then there were people outside, and inside they were creeps. That's where the creeps came from. That was the information until obviously the kids started talking. So I left it at that because we were driving home. We were going in a zone. And then I'm thinking, and then the news must have come on and said the police didn't get there till noon. And I knew she got the message at 10. And that's when I said,
yes, mate,
something's not right. You knew at 10, police weren't called till noon, but the roommates were there. What's going on? That's where this all started. And that was my question. She goes, I don't know, Mom. And I said, well, did they know them? And so they had talked back and forth more. And I think at some point she realized she didn't know the girls. She graduated with Xana's sister, but they're social media friends with different houses. So, you know, friendly, they class together or whatever, but not friends per se. So there was no reason for her to, you know, to have it from her. But then, of course, then the girls were talking and speaking because it's so gruesome. And they didn't even truly know that 911 hadn't been called. They just assumed 911 had been called and the parents had been called. And really, it didn't click for me that Dave also thought 911 had been called, because they learned that when they go to preschool. They start active gun shooting drills when they're in preschool. You know, that it's part of their DNA now with everything that's going on and what we teach our kids. So they just assumed that they had been called. It didn't even register. And then when Bryan was arrested, and so I called the FBI and told them everything. And all of my phone records and such are with Daniel. And you're free to have them as well if you want to see them. You're free to see them. They're not redacted. I'm not redacting anything, but I give it to you. I mean, I hope you don't put it public, please. Like, you know, I don't need people chasing me down.
I'm not.
I know you're not, but yeah.
Well, I don't.
I've invited people to do that.
I don't not believe that you made calls to the tip lines and things like. I have no. Yeah. Again, the part that I am at a loss here for is how you managed to go from all these panels and relay specifics. If you're stating let's go back to the very first thing you said publicly. All right, I think I'm going to pause it there because there's no way I could get through all of this tonight. And I want to go over this because she's on for, oh God.
Oh, wow, yeah.
She's on for 2 more hours. So if you want, like, if people are interested in reviewing the whole 2 hours, like, we could do the next live reviewing her. I don't know if people want to hear the dot stuff. It gives me chills, Shay, to even go over like the dot stuff. But like,
because Dot will appear.
Dot will appear. I swear she appeared the other day. But I think it was a little bit of my PTSD. But there was a panel that had all the same creators.
Dot appeared in the Sebastian case too.
Yes, and it had Brat, and it had crime.
Crime Lies, yeah.
Salty Sleuth, like it had
Sleuth, all the ones.
Yes, and then I heard a voice, and I swear my eye twitched, and I was like, no. But like she talked a little bit more, and I was like, okay, I don't think, like, wait, is that? And I'm like, no, okay, like the influx in her voice, you know. But I freaked out for a second, thinking it was Dot, like pretending to be something with the Sebastian case, and it brought me PTSD, like with all the creators and stuff. I'm like, what is happening? Right, you guys, like, and we could, if you guys are interested, I will review. We could go over every single thing we said. We could point out, hey, okay, what looks to be true, what looks not to be true. I don't mind doing that. But with Dot, she was a self-admitted, she lied, like she disturbingly lied. And then we have Justin, and we've done a lot of deep dives on Justin too. And Justin, I don't even know where Justin is right now.
He's still around.
Oh, he is? Oh God.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, Justin.
Because Michelle Lee doesn't like Justin. Remember? She doesn't like Justin, yes. J. Rod, and all them. And so they have had their own spat for quite a while since we were covering the case back and forth with them. But it's Justin, is it Papa, what is this? Papa. Oh shoot.
Papa Rogers?
No, last name is like Papa something.
Oh.
Remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking
about. Well, some people did think he was Papa Rogers, but he's not.
Yeah, no. But I just realized 3 out of 3 of them all threatened me.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I'm going back in my memory, and all differently, and Kim's was the worst. Well, I mean, I say Kim's was the worst, but like the other one gave me a death threat. But like I don't know, like that doesn't always seem worse than like something.
What about Roto? The Roto run?
No, that was a 4th one. That was a 2 run.
Like anytime we would debunk something, like Melissa got the worst kind of like feedback worse than probably Wade wives.
It was pretty crazy. Rode said he would come to my house. Like, yeah, he would come to my door. But
he has a little channel apparently.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, I saw that, like, kind of people that follow him, Tommy, and they follow that Embry person or whatever.
The J Embry.
And then of course, Rory's been back lately.
Well, Justin, guys, he is, oh God, I don't know how to explain Justin without it coming up. Okay, Justin, it would be a trans man, right? What is that correct terminology?
Yes, they ended up on a panel.
Okay, so Justin is a trans man and who kind of busted through here, and he came out with some insider exclusive information that if you want to see those, I have all of those videos. I have all of the posts, man. Do the comments. And Justin came out with some insight, so there's that, some inside information that Dylan is a trans.
He was like Dylan's spokesperson, remember? Like an advocate.
He was chosen by Dylan, by a middle person, to be her spokesperson because Dylan is a trans woman. He's a trans man. She's a trans woman. And because of the transness, I have chosen you to be my spokesperson. And it was some very in-depth
wild shit.
Wild storyline that included transition surgeries and I can't hospitalizations, like some crazy shit, like really far out there shit. Like Kim is nothing compared to what Justin was saying. Okay, but he's getting better, she says.
But mine is, but guys, seriously, I think the thing that makes Justin probably one of the most interesting characters, beyond this trans thing to Dylan that is not true, I'm not trying to spread that kind of shit, was he's related to literally everybody, including Albert Einstein.
I forgot about that.
Literally everybody.
Yes. I forgot about that, Shay. So Justin happens to be related to everyone. Like
Bethany.
Yeah. Well, and that's what the whole thing was from the beginning. This, like, issue 1, it, as a fellow trans person, you would never out someone. Like, you wouldn't, because nobody ever looked at Dylan and thought, hey, I think that's a trans woman. Like, sorry, but it's just not. But so then and believe it or not, it gains traction. People so desperately want like information that they're willing to accept bullshit information. And it went around, okay? But yeah, issue number 1 is you're outing someone's story according to you, like if we're to entertain, it's the truth. Like you're outing someone, like that is so fucked up to do. Then he said Xana and Ethan, Xana was Ethan's beard, and they were like, he discredited their relationship, which was the worst thing to do because the only comfort I can imagine these families had was Kaylee and Maddie passed together, and then Xana and Ethan passed together, and the connections and the love that both of all of them had. I can imagine that being the slightest little bit of comfort in a sea of devastation. And then to discredit it and say, hey, their love wasn't real, their relationship wasn't real, it was all a facade because they're all gay. It really felt like a underlying narrative being pushed there.
We got you, Harlan.
Yeah. He said he's a chaplain, but the name on the family. Hold on, sorry. He says he's a Chapin, but the name on the family tree. Chapman. Hold on. But then, no, Natasha, it's bad. And then
he said he was Clary's cousin too.
Yes. And then he said he was Einstein's. Einstein.
He's related to Einstein. Yes, that's the first one I said. He's related to Einstein.
I think I was laughing.
And then he's related to these Masons of some kind of church, and then some
Freemasonry.
distance.
And his dad was killed. Yeah.
And they were gonna go after Chief
Yes.
Fry.
Oh God, he went after Fry. So
And then
hard.
when he was in the military, Brett Payne, or his brother was his sergeant. Like, it was wild.
Yo,
He connected himself to everybody.
Every connection you could possibly think of. And I'm sorry, I'm not laughing because it's funny versus that's my coping mechanism, okay, guys? But I'm laughing because of just
It's wild.
How outrageous it got.
Because for each person he said he was connected to, guys, he had a story for it. He would come out with these
story.
There was like, I'll say each person was like a novel, guy, or sorry, like a chapter in a book.
Yeah.
And so for each chapter, like in this book, like he had long stories about these relations to these people and how this crossover world and revenge killings, and it was just the wildest shit that all grew off of his very first panel talking about a trans thing. And it's just like, where, like, and how did we get here? Were we abducted by fucking aliens?
But he did it in a way where he would record himself on the camera, guys, and he would look straight into the camera and he'd be like,
wait, can I find it, Justin?
Yeah,
I gotta find one. I'm gonna find it right now.
He'd be like, so, you guys know Einstein? Mm-hmm. Well, do you see what this is right here? And he'll pick up some random object. Like, he'd be like, did you know this is Einstein's pendant that he wore the day that he took his IQ test? Mm-hmm. That day that he, I don't know, theorized relativity. And did you know that he made my great-great-grandmother twice removed while wearing this pendant? And so the blood of Albert Einstein. And so, like, as crazy as it sounds, like, no, but he was serious. He was serious. And so he was always like making love to the camera. And when I say that, I'm talking about with his eyes. Like, he had an in-depth story about how Dylan chose him, that Brett Payne was his sergeant, that Brett Kopaka, oh, don't even get me started. You know, like Chapin, Ethan Chapin, that's my family. I'm related, you know, like but not in a way where you could tell he's fucking around. No, in a way where I think he fucking believes this. I think he believes it. But here's the issue with this case is that the people with the misinformation and putting that shit out were much, much louder than the facts. And to this day, you see the remnants of it, like the people are in the pro-burgers. And I'm not saying that to say that every person who thinks that Bryan may be innocent is like that, because that's not fair and that's not true. But majority of them, when you have a discussion, it is remnants of that misinformation that was spread, whether it's Kim, whether it's Dot, whether it's Rory with the tunnels underneath, whether it's Justin, it's remnants of it. And I like, we'll show you. If you guys really just want to go back, we will have to do rewind lives and go over and do the Kim and the Dot and a little bit of Justin, just so you know. It is KV, but honestly, what's more terrifying to me isn't the fact that people lie. People lie all the time. I've accepted that. It's the fact that people preferred to believe a lie over the truth. They preferred. You'll watch them do mental gymnastics to make that lie fit. And I never could understand that. When you have like a conspiracy, there's always remnants of it. There's always going to be things that you could point at. And I've used the example like with 9/11, right? I'll never just tell you, hey, 9/11 was a setup. And not have something I could talk to you for days and days and days and days and days and point to you all of the things that don't make sense and actual legit black and white documented things. If Kohberger was innocent, okay, and he was set up and there is a whole other world of things that are true, you would be able to point me to them. And that's the issue that I have, is you guys can't point me to them. You have to just, the same way with Tilly earlier, you know, like, well, Dylan and Bethany saw Xana face down with her fingers cut off at 4:20. Well, I added this. No. You don't have to add. If it's the truth, why do you have to add anything? Just make it work based off the truth.
Right.
Oh, did you send it? Oh, God.
So this is one that I did a screen recording of. I don't know if I have more, but I did screen record that one.
It's a good just sample. We could do this the next, like we could.
Well, show them the sample.
Yes, I am showing them the sample, but I'm saying like we could get, because I have all of them.
We have a lot.
saved.
Remember,
Yeah.
we had like tons.
I have all of his comments. I saw it not that long ago when I had to scroll all the way up to look for, I think, Letitia stuff. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, all of the Justin stuff. Here's just a smidgeroo before we go.
I don't even know the content, guys, so we don't know what he's going to say. Just beware.
Yeah, just beware. And absolutely none of this is true. We are not repeating this to put any validity in what is being stated versus educational purposes only. Godspeed.
Oh, yes.
Is there any way of knowing right now, and again, I know there's things you can't say, but of whether this this murderer is still in the area or may be far away by now?
Like I said, we're not disclosing any of that, but there's some of that we just don't know at this point. We're still trying to put everything together. We've said all along that we need people to be vigilant. We need people to pay attention because we're not sure exactly where the individual is. We're not sure exactly where the individual is.
Hey everyone, it's Justin. I'm on the record right now. It is Monday, December 26th, 1:03 a.m. Moscow police know who the perp is, or the perps are. Go back, watch the interview with News Daddy. MPD said, because we don't exactly know where the individual is. Think about that. They know who did it.
We're not sure exactly where the individual is.
This isn't even one of his crazy ones.
Yeah, this is like him just pointing to stuff, but I remember I saved it for some reason.
Well, because we saved everything. We went over everything.
He tried to like basically prove that he had this like insider information.
Thank you for coming today.
I gotta have a good one of
In
Justin
conjunction
losing
with the
it.
Pennsylvania State Police,
Let me
Federal Bureau
scroll
of
up.
Investigation, detectives arrested 28-year-old Bryan Kohberger in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania.
Justin.
I'm trying to find my Justin stuff too. He's so dramatic, if you can't tell.
This does not do justice, guys. Just hold on.
Yeah, we got more. Hold on, too. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. It's like we built them up, though. We can't leave them with this shit.
Yeah, I thought I that was what I like instantly just saw. I was like, that's a Justin one.
Yeah, we built them up. I know it is Unsolved Mystery vibes, but we built it up so much we can't just show you that and walk away.
So the way he like presented himself was kind of like he had all this insider information. That's kind of what he was like all about.
Sorry, I just passed a Bonnie with like the smoking 9 cigarettes, but that's from the Wade case. But if you follow the Wade stuff, you'll know what I'm laughing at. It was the Bonnie meme with the 9 cigarette smoking. Oh, that was funny.
God,
Some of
I
our
have too many Ari memes. That's why it takes forever to scroll back. Shit. Okay. All right, I just made it to 2023.
All right. I got Justin's YouTube channel, but all his videos are gone. Damn it.
Of course, all of his videos are gone. Holy shit, man. There's so many Ari memes. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I didn't make it from 2023. I forgot I'm going backwards. I made it to December 2024. I thought I was about to go back to November 2023. Not a remote viewer, Nav, but selected to have inside information. And so we pulled up every comment he ever made, and we showed how, oh my God, he was related to everybody. Everybody.
Oh. I have like where somebody's reviewing him.
Dude, we've reviewed him. I'm sure I can find the Justin video. Where is all this? And I don't want to lose my spot by doing like a search.
I know I was sending links. They're all gone now.
Yes, Nav.
I don't know. Why don't we just read like one of his postings, you know? Because that kind of like says it all.
Mine is all in the same area. Like it's all in the same, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wait, because I know popular. Popular. The leak. WIC Mom Kim. WIC Mom Kim.
I really wish I would have recorded those.
The Idaho trolls we did. I got it.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah, I just had to go to my channel and go to one of the most popular videos. Idaho trolls. There we go.
We're not letting this go, guys. You have to understand the chaos of Justin.
Okay. Now you're going to have to listen to me and Shay again over me and Shay. This whole article, which debunks the narrative that he pushed while showing the damn article. That is what our lives turned into. Every day debunking, because it was we sound the same now.
We do.
The misinformation. And we all have questions. We all agree that there's probably something more to this. But with that being said, that doesn't mean you just have to run with any damn piece of information. Oh my God, we're the same today, Shay.
Almost. You have a different thing on the.
I have a different avatar, but dude, I just yelled the same thing a minute ago.
I mean, we're pretty much like. Oh, fuck. My gummy's hitting me.
You didn't change at all. Shit. Okay. Well,
Shit.
No need to listen to Melissa say it twice in one live. I'm always yelling the same old shit, man. Okay, let's go.
But to a lot of people, I know. Yeah.
Fit. Read the video, bitches. I've never been in a video. We're about to hear not take it and run with it. Things that were going to happen.
On Monday of last week, Dylan Mortensen was attacked by 3 men. These 3 men, plus an additional man, are the killers who are inside the 1122 Keene house.
What a way to open that video, right? Dylan was attacked. And when I say people went crazy with this, they did. Dylan was attacked by the killers. So we already have him allegedly aware of
who the killers are. This is after Bryan was arrested.
Should we put up some banner that we don't believe this, so
Yes.
people don't like click on them and be like, oh, they're
Good
running with
idea,
us.
girls.
Good idea, old Shay.
Good idea.
That is a hell of an intro he starts with. I will say that, like, before I saw the Kim email, his stuff was probably the most egregious. Before the Kim email came out from T-Rev,
yes,
the stuff that he said was probably the most egregious to me.
Yes, old Shay, I agree.
It was wild.
Shay shouldn't have took her.
Yes, before despite Kim coming out around the same time, Kim hadn't full on at this point rolled it again. She tumbleweeded in. So at first she was a little tumbleweed. At first she was just a few straws. She hadn't full on became the tumble that she did. Okay.
Oh God, you
still sound like that.
I even said that literal. Oh my God, why do people stick around? We say the same shit. What the fuck are people doing here? Oh my God.
You've never heard this story? Yeah, there's a lot of people. That's why I want you to kind of go back, and I want you guys to realize like the extent that this was going to. It was
this
crazy
point,
and chaotic at this time. But if you
This
think
is the
people didn't
second time
believe
going
it,
back.
you are wrong. There are people who still believe it. The amount of emails I get every time I do one of these lives and trying to convince me that this is all true is concerning.
Oh, the Justin.
I just said I need to do this because I keep getting all these comments. Shit, man.
You sound the same.
We sound the vegan same.
I feel like you have a deja vu.
It's weird because it's still the both of us there, you know, we're here. And at this point, we're like, we need to go back and look at us now. We need to go back.
We still say the same shit.
It's an inception of us saying the same shit, man.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay.
We'll stop.
Yes.
Men are the killers who were inside the 1122 Keene house on the night of November 13th. Now, I want to name their names, but I probably shouldn't.
Probably.
I've
No, it probably would be best if you don't put people's first and last names out there and accuse them of being the murderers, despite Bryan Kohberger already being charged with the murders. But you know who would in the future at this point? Well, actually, no. Did she already? I'm not sure with the exact date. Kim WSU mom, and that's what I initially called her out for, is going onto the Drunk Turkey show and literally naming 5 people's first and last names and saying they were the murderers. Did he say 5? Did he also just say 5? Interesting.
Hi,
welcome,
Kim.
Kimberly. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Oh, just wait, Kathy.
And they both talk about the church at Ellie a lot. It's kind of interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
already received threats in the past, and I'm not exactly looking forward to getting more. Due to the extra ridiculous, unconstitutional as hell gag order, Dylan cannot talk and tell her story. But I can.
Okay. So there is an unconstitutional gag order. Dylan is refrained from talking, but Justin can. Now, what I want to point out to you, I've enjoyed having the debate of, do you guys think this gag order is the better idea? Do you guys think the gag order works against them? What are our thoughts? What information? This will not
not subject to the gag order.
Okay.
Justin
again, Melissa.
Ladies, oh yeah.
Means of communication that does not break the gag order. That information from my informant gives me legal grounds to speak on this topic.
Oh, go ahead, say it.
Okay, I'm trying here. You work for the defense.
Oh yeah, I forgot. He said he worked for the department.
He worked for the defense. That's right.
And on his Facebook,
his department. I still have the pictures. You want them?
Yes. On his Facebook, guys, you know how on the profile you
I'm sending to you right now.
You could like write where you work. On his, it was the Department of Defense. I'll just let old me say it, okay?
You have an informant, but your connections somehow make you free to release.
All right, I'm just gonna play him.
The reason Dylan was attacked.
Okay, stop. And I'm not gonna pause that much, but
yes, you are, Melissa.
Justin is nation found. Right. Have to bring yourself. It was so story. Bethany, Justin's word was being we creased on
Dylan's story for her. The reason Dylan was attacked is because, yes, Dylan is trans.
Whoa.
You heard me right. Dylan is trans.
Okay, please keep it respectful in the comments. I don't want to make any is later. Why were shit? See, so.
Oh my god.
Is trans. Again, that's not accurate. I'm just saying this is what he is.
I think I just realized because this Justin 2023. I think that's my own video.
That's your own?
Like I have it uploaded probably under my private videos.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, because I think Wolfie sent that to me and I uploaded it so I could play it. So I probably have the original just sitting there, and we're playing this bullshit copy of us in the past. For no
why don't we go get that?
That's what I need to look for now.
Claiming at this time, all
oh my god, I interrupt so much.
Still think fell
green.
Yeah, to touch the screen. More. A fact.
Oh, shut up, me.
This is information that I exclusively know. I have a middleman, my informant, who is talking to Dylan for me. When I say that I have informants and sources, I'm really not joking about it.
Mm-hmm. Listen, when I said I have informants and I had sources, I'm serious, okay? I'm being very serious. So, not alleged. What I want you guys to focus on is the verbiage, the choice of words. You're admitting you are not getting your back.
And closer to the truth of what all happened in Moscow, I've been getting more and more resistance, pushback, and I have even had, assault and death threats. Which, for those of you who are responsible for those threats, I've already given them to a lawyer. Have fun with that. I'm absolutely.
So the information that
check. If you're watching us,
so
I always tell you, fuck around and find out. Well, fuck around and find out.
Fuck around and find out. Enough said.
I'm not going to back down from this challenge because I'm not afraid of a challenge.
Oh.
Challenges such as going through the entire process of transitioning from female to male, including 20 full years of transition. That's social, legal, medical, surgical, everything. I have fully transitioned. I am now post-transition, including phalloplasty surgery.
We didn't need
I breezed right through it, had all 4 stages done in less than a year and a half. I'm completely done with phalloplasty.
Okay. And again, I'm going to make the reminder because there just been the link, but we eventually do members at Kim and get speed of
is not trans to be telling this story or talking about this topic?
So, according to Justin, Dylan is trans. So, this is why he shares his part of the story. He was
attacked last week. She suffered kidney damage due to blunt force trauma. Her injuries from this attack are more severe than anyone understands due to a specific combination of medications that Dylan had.
So Dylan was...
Right, I'm going to have to eventually just find the original for this because I can't listen to myself that much. But let me show you guys this. This is it. Shay.
What? What?
This is his profile. And it's Justin William Papa Rodriguez started the job at Department of Defense.
And I was able to, he was in the public Facebook group, so this isn't me just looking for it.
Yes. But that shit was 2018, so that was before this shit. So he said he was working for the defense and he had a way to bypass the gag order. Okay. And then when you go to his Facebook, it literally shows him working.
In his picture, he's dressed up in Harry Potter stuff and is next to something with Ravenclaw.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot that. Yo, I mean, if you guys want to go back, I will prepare it and we'll have it ready. Because, like I said, I have we went through every comment, Shay. We went through every comment, every video. But as much as I'm laughing now, this shit was. You could tell our tone was more serious back then because there were people putting validity into it. It was crazy. It was fucking crazy. So you have the Dot, you have the Kim, you have the Justins, the Rorys. It was just, oh my God. And then you have the creators who are willing just to push it because you got clicks and views doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys want to continue and watch the Kim one, we could finish the Kim one the next live. And pull up the Justin and Dot stuff. Honestly, the Dot stuff, I feel like you don't need to go through all of it versus a clip of what she claimed at the worst, and then the clip of her saying I full on lied. That's it. That's all you need. Listen to what she was willing to say, crying with tears down her face, such an emotional story, and then the clip of her on the panel with us saying oh, I didn't break a crime. What crime did I break? You impersonated someone and said you were literally in a getaway car and accused people of being involved in this crime and seeing them commit the crime. She asked me to, though. It's not a crime. Okay.
Oh man, that was insane.
Sure.
Guess what I found? I found
What?
a post from Justin and it went with that video that we watched earlier.
What does it say?
Is this for anyone who has been making false claims and allegations that I don't know Gerard, which was the Twitter thing?
Oh, yeah.
He said, yes, I do. I worked on the Boot Again campaign in 2020. I worked on trans healthcare policy proposal white papers. He's reliable and trustworthy. He isn't a random. His information's legitimate. Stop shitting all over him. It's not cool.
Oh, my dear Lord.
The Boot Again. I forgot he was in public policy. I forgot.
Yeah, I forgot that too. He, even though he was only in the service for, what was it, I think
he was
month.
the first trans person.
That's what it was, yes.
And it's legit, there's actual interviews in the Chicago area. Yeah.
And it should have just stopped there, but instead it went very deep. And I will find the Einstein one for you guys. And he's connected to Chief Fry because his dad, remember with Chief Fry? Oh my God.
Yes. Justin has the wildest stories. That's why it's kind of
what it reminds me of? Shit, sorry to interrupt you, but before have you ever seen the movie The Stupids?
Yes.
I am my own grandpa. And he goes on to this whole big
It reminds me of this whole big song of how he's all connected. So therefore, I am my own grandpa. Basically, I'm my own grandpa at the end of this whole fucking story.
I remember that.
Yes, and I didn't remember it until this moment, Shay. I didn't remember that movie, that song. I didn't remember it until right now. That's why I had to interrupt you. Because you know when something just pops in your head, like, holy fuck, is that a memory of mine? He walked a goldfish on a leash, the kid.
Yeah, you did. I remember that.
Oh my God, I need to find that movie.
It's been a long time since I've seen that.
Oh my God, I was a kid. Oh wow, I am my own grandpa.
I'm going to find that too.
It came out from the deep depths of my childhood, Shay. That memory.
Well, too bad you can't add the Goonies to it, but that's okay.
You know what, Shay? In another 2 years, we'll review.
I need to go to bed. I actually really liked The Stupids because it came out around the time of the Coneheads, right?
Yeah.
I like that.
I say yeah, but I really don't know, but it sounds right. Yeah.
All right. Oh my God.
In 2 years, we'll be reviewing this panel, reviewing us from 2 years ago from now. Reviewing the beginning. So,
you're gonna name 5 people, first and last name.
So it started, and she turned into a Kimbleweed. It started from a couple of straws. Oh my God!
It all started with the letter, the email to
us. Email. I've been getting these comments, man. So hello to the future us. But it's what's his name? What's his name from The Stupids? It's I don't know the actor's name. Hold on one second.
Tom Arnold.
Tom Arnold, yes.
Yeah.
It's Tom Arnold. It's on Tubi for free. Go watch it. You're welcome.
I'm totally going to watch that. It's been so long.
I am too.
Okay.
Bug
all right.
Hall, Alex McKenna, David Cronenberg. To be honest, I don't know the rest of them, but it was a good movie. Like, it was a stupid as fuck movie, but it was a good stupid as fuck
It's
movie.
a good laugh. It is a really good laugh. It's like, did I just watch this? Yes. And was it enjoying?
Mm-hmm.
And did I laugh my ass off? Absolutely.
Yeah. And so when you get to the sing where Tom Arnold sings "I Am My Own Grandpa," that is that is
yes. Justin's related to everybody.
He's related to everyone and anyone. Oh my God!
Maybe we should clip that for when we go over Justin again.
That is great. That's what we shall do. Did he?
Okay.
It was good. I have to watch it.
All right, I'm gonna go now.
Yes, I love you. Thank you for
love you too.
And we'll come back soon, guys. We'll come back because I know the next 2 days I'm scheduled up, so we will be back later on, maybe Thursday or Friday. Because I got the giggles, I have to be up in a couple hours. But thank you all for hanging out. We will go back and do a course history of all of these auto trolls. And thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being members. And I will see you guys all tomorrow.